Welcome everyone to 2017 Blade&Soul Korea Finals. My name is Joel Sophie and with me is always Ending Life here on the analyst desk, and we are here once again for Blade&Soul Korea action. We are in our day 4 of our tournament, and finally we are done with the challenger scene. Now we're moving right on to the champion scene, and finally you guys get to see those teams that you've always wanted to see. And how do you feel about seeing them today, Ending?
Like you just said, I was waiting for this champion stage. Finally, we get to see the Busan sisters or brothers, the Busan Derby, GC Busan Blue and Red, and Kureta and IDEPS finally. And now we also have the teams that we've been seeing from the Challengers League going up against the big boys or the champion stage. And
it's definitely a challenge for these guys, having made it up as the number 1 and 2 seeds from each of their groups. Now they're going to be up against the big dogs, going up against the most accumulated points from Season 1 and Season 2. As you mentioned, GC Busan's will be there, and Kureta will be there, and IDEPS will be there as well. But some of these teams have seen some roster changes, and you will see them once we actually introduce the teams, once they get to the actual matches. But we're going to present to you these teams in order from the champions team all the way to the challengers team. But the difference here is that the challengers teams will be facing a champion team today. So that's going to be a set bracket for sure.
Yeah, there won't be any overlaps with, you know, a challenger team going up against a challenger, or, you know, same thing with the champion team going up against the champion. So today our bracket is going to be a single champion team versus a single challenger team.
And we're going to actually see the format here. The overview is that we saw that the schedule with the challenger stage is now finally over. So these crossed out dates for the quarterfinals is finally over. Now we're on to the champion stage, which now clinched themselves with the number 1, 2 seeds from each group are now considered one of the champions teams. And we're going to be seeing them starting from today's quarterfinals to go up against these teams to whether they can really go to the challenge and really beat the top dogs.
Yeah, and I also want to mention, since it is on screen, today is the only Sunday that we will be broadcasting at 1200 KST, Korea Standard Time. So starting next Sunday and the next Sunday, any Sundays coming up, we will be going back to the 1300 KST, the Korea Standard Time. So today is the only day that we will be doing it at 1200.
So we thank you everyone for tuning with us an hour early for today's Sunday broadcast. But as Ending just said, next week, starting the Sundays, we will be back to our 1300 schedule, and it's based on the Korean Standard Time. So if you guys are confused on the time, you can just Google it and try to see what time it is in your region. But we're going to the overviews with the game rules. As you guys are familiar, it's always a mix and match, as it has always been. And we're going to be going with the best of 4 and best of 7s, as you guys are familiar with it as well.
Yep, and today you will see the matchups. There we go. Today we will only have a best of 4 games. So this is the matchup in order: GC Busan Blue versus No Nade, IDEPS versus Full Swing, Kureta versus GFAM, and GC Busan Red versus G Touring. So Joel, which match are you most hyped for? I know you're hyped for all of them, but choose one, if you had to choose one.
You know, before I say anything, I'm really just happy to, you know, stall these through these 3 days, and we're finally back in day 4 to finally see the cream of the crops, the top 4 teams that we've always wanted to watch. But as you mentioned, I think the top dogs really have a work cut out for some of these teams. Even the challengers team, they're considered the lower tier teams, but some of them are very up there in the way they can challenge the opposition. And G Touring, I think, is one of the teams that you really have to look out for, especially with the entrance of the new player, Youngwon Chang, on the Assassin coming into this side. It just created a new dynamic for this team. And going up against the GC Busan Red, who has been a little bit shaken from Season 2. So whether that last matchup will go to either side, we're going to have to find out. But I think that might be the most exciting match for today.
All right. So you're not going to ask me, but I'm going to tell you anyways.
Hey, go ahead.
Since he chose the last matchup against GC Busan Red and G Touring, I'm going to have to choose Kureta versus GFAM.
Okay.
One of the reasons is because GFAM has Suwon Kim, the KFM player.
Your favorite.
Well, I'm not going to be biased, or I'm not going to take sides, but yeah, I am a KFM player, and Suwon Kim is good with the KFM, so yeah. That's one of the reasons, but that's not the only reason.
Okay.
Because Kureta also had a roster change, but we'll get into that later when they are up. But that is also an interesting team, because Kureta has Shinhancard Kim and Hyungwoo Kwon, but Jinyu Park left the team for personal reasons. Wait, no, not Jinyu Park.
GC Busan Red. GC Busan Red.
Oh, yeah, GC Busan Red.
Hyungwoo Kim left the team.
Yeah. Hyungwoo Kim joined... Hyungwoo Kim joined GC Busan Red, and Byung-woo Kim from G Touring joined Kureta.
So
either way, well, I just mentioned the roster change, and I wasn't gonna.
It's okay.
But anyways, yeah, that is another reason. So Kureta also had a roster change. So how will they cope with this new teammate against G-Fan.
And I think that's the two questions that really goes against our way is that when you do have a roster change, especially in a superstar team like Coup d'Etat has, as you mentioned, it's either one or two things. It's either you can really cope well with the new teammate and form a new type of synergy. We saw an example from that from G-Touring side with Youngwon Che forming a really positive dynamic for this team, and that became a really positive thing for these guys. But we also seen examples of when that becomes a negative turn, and sometimes when you get the new teammate, it's just really hard to adjust, especially when you have a lot of ego going against each of your teammates with so many talents is already there and you're trying to fit in a new type of talent. And sometimes that can go wrong. So whether it goes one way or the other, we have to find out with Coup d'Etat's match coming up.
Yeah, we'll have to see if the new members, not only Coup d'Etat, but any team with the roster change, will the new members bring down their team or help them go up to the next level? We'll have to see.
And that's basically it. And also for the events on the screen, we're always giving friendly reminder that you guys will not be able to participate in these events unless you are in the Korean server. So EU and NA fans, we love you all, but the events you cannot participate.
We're gonna probably be going into the VCR, the team VCR very soon, so we'll probably get cut off while we're talking. But until we do get cut off, let's talk about the first match: GC Busan Blue versus No Named.
You know, for me personally, I've joined this Blade&Soul scene starting from Season 2, and I've seen them from Season 1 as well, but just that GC Busan Blue was not a team to be considered last year, all of last year, and they were not a serious team to contention. But Season 1, Season 2, they were first place in our both respective seasons, and now they're just even getting better. And according to the players that we've been talking to, GC Busan Blue, just every single one of them team is so dedicated into making their team the greatest and staying the greatest. So this team, I'm just personally really watching out for and seeing what they can do tonight.
Yeah, since you mentioned GC Busan Blue's modifications to the better, the better. I'm actually very happy that Daeyoung Choi, the assassin, last year he was on the Soul Fighter for his team, gave up his main, which was an assassin, but we are going to go into the VCR first.
안녕하세요. 저희는 GC 부산 블루의
이름이 기억 안 났죠?
안녕하세요. 저희는 GC 부산 블루의 최대용, 손윤태, 정윤재입니다. 손윤태 선수가 여러 직업을 할 수가 있잖아요. 그게 저희 팀으로서는 정말 축복인 것 같아요.
진유 형이 이제 나가고 형규 형이 이제 들어왔는데요. 잔머리가 좋아요. 얍삽하다고 해야 되나? 그 점이 태그 때 크게 작용하지 않을까. 그게 좀 변수인 것 같아요.
이번 시즌 코리아 파이널이라는 경기가 굉장히 중요한 경기인데 저희 세 팀의 호흡과 개개인의 실력을 향상시켜가지고 좋은 경기 보여드리고 월드 챔피언십에 꼭 가가지고 해외 선수들과도 한번 꼭 붙어보고 싶습니다.
파이널 목표는 최소 2등을 두고 있고요. 정말 많이 연습했거든요. 세세한 것도 이제 다 맞추고 있고 파이널 때 저희 팀에 지금 필살기가 하나 있는데 그거를 꼭 보여드리도록 하겠습니다.
이번 시즌에는 정윤재 선수를 좀 기대를 해보는 것도 좋을 것 같고요.
이번 시즌도 그랬잖아요.
응? 아니야, 근데 이번 시즌은 확실히 달라가지고.
제가 시즌 1 때부터 조종사를 시작해가지고 여기까지 왔는데 하면 할수록 확실히 느는 것 같긴 하지만 갈 길이 너무나도 멀다고 생각을 해요. 이번 파이널도 시즌 2보다는 훨씬 낫지 않을까 생각하고 있고요. 이번에는 진짜로 1등 해보겠습니다.
저희 팀을 만나면 그냥 바로 광탈하실 거니까 제대로 준비하셨길 바래요.
So you definitely saw the VCR from GC Busan Blue, but we are not getting the VCR from the Challenger team because you've already seen them before in our previous week. But
and we wouldn't have known which team would have made it up anyway. So that is also another reason that we only got to see GC Busan Blue.
But the important part is this is the best team in Korea, bar none. It's what every team, other than GC Busan Blue, the other teams even in this tournament are considering to be the best team in the tournament is GC Busan Blue. These guys have been consistent, and that word is just cannot be understated for what they have been done. They've been practicing hard, they've been dedicated, and all three players are looking to improve even when they're at the top stage.
Yeah, and if you have just noticed on the player screen, the registered classes for these guys, or most of the teams in the champion stage, it's so many classes registered, and compared to what we've seen in the challenger stage, where most teams have at most like 3 or 4, and most of the majority of the players only have like 1 or 2 registered. So yeah, like finally we get to see we are back to the normal, our normal scene.
And basically, you know, what we want to mention, I want to add on to that, is that Yuntae's son is not just a player who adds 7 classes into his registration. He actually plays most of them. We saw him literally play 4 different classes from Season 2 alone. So this guy, he's not just registering just for the fun of it. He can literally play just about any class that is out there in this video game. And No Name is your next team that's going to be facing up against GC Busan Blue. Boy, do they have a lot of work cut out for them.
Yeah, boy, do they have a lot of classes. No, I'm just kidding. But anyways, No Name was definitely a surprise, I'm going to be honest.
Definitely, yes.
They performed poorly the first week, but then the second weekend, yesterday, they just stepped up their game. They just jumped like 10 flights of stairs and they just got better. Uri Lim definitely stepped up his game. Same with Iran Jang on the Blade Master. Now it's time for Yun Dong-oh to step up his game as the destroyer, as the team's tank and support. So, you know, we'll see how much they prepare within that one day from yesterday.
Yeah, in addition to what you're saying about No Name, was that in yesterday's prediction of how we predicted Group A to advance, and No Name was definitely not in our mindset of moving on to the next round, and they beat out the other teams with Superman.
Have you already forgotten my big picture?
Oh yes, just a reminder, if you guys haven't watched yesterday's broadcast, Ending Live has clearly stated he has dedicated his casting career on the line, saying that No Name is painting a big picture. They're showing off as one of the weakest teams in week 1, but they're just coming back to surprise us all.
Yes.
The biggest surprise ending would be for them to beat GC Busan Blue today. Can you handle that?
That I'm not sure, but them beating Chobo was the big picture.
It was
already
surprise,
painted.
Yes.
And now we have the first matchup. Daeyoung Choi on the Assassin and Wuri Lim on the Force Master. How will this play out?
And I think Daeyoung Choi is one of those players right now in the current Blade&Soul scene who are considered one of the best players in this tournament, and that is quite a statement to make when you have so many talents who are saying the exact same thing about another player. But this Daeyoung Choi guy on the Assassin, he has been almost flawless. He does everything right, and he even has finesse to add on to that as well. So this guy, you can expect a lot from him. And in normal cases, you will see him win out this game 1, but we're always in for surprises.
Oh yeah, definitely. And Wuri Lim actually does have a little trauma going up against an Assassin in the Challengers League, but the music has changed, and we'll see how these two will handle the first match. Let's get it on.
Welcome everyone to Game 1 between GC Busan Blue and No Name. You are looking at potentially the best team in Korea facing off against a rookie team that has surprised us yesterday. So Daeyoung Choi on the Assassin going up against Wuri Lim on the Force Master. We kind of know what to expect, but let's just hope for something will surprise us in the middle.
There we go with the Daeyoung Choi aggressiveness into the aerial.
There you
Web
go,
and the landmine.
And the landmine is planted, so he will pop it as soon as the webbing is gone. He doesn't pop it yet. And Wuri Lim actually does get away before the landmine. It had a chance to be popped. So Daeyoung Choi is on the good run here, but he probably would have looked for a different option if he knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, Wuri Lim's Frost Armor probably prediction that Daeyoung Choi would have came in, but he didn't. That was good patience on Daeyoung Choi's side. Now he is in stealth mode. There we go into another aerial.
Going aggressive, Daeyoung Choi, another landmine being planted. This time he pops it for another knockdown coming up, and that's going to be his chance to go a little more aggressive, but he doesn't get the escape out quite yet. He does get the stun. He's going to pull him in. He's going to pull him in. There you go. And he's going to pull him in and try to get some damage onto him.
What was that, Daeyoung?
Daeyoung Choi, probably a little mistake. Not putting in the damage when he had the opportunity. He does go into stealth. Does tab escape out of Wuri Lim's stun. So Wuri Lim looking at a good chance right now, although he is a little down on health-wise. What's up on the floor?
Yeah, Wuri Lim's playing the mind game. He's not using his tab escape.
Yeah. And I think we've always learned from the Assassin matchups that when you do give up your tab escape, it's very crucial once you get another stun up on you, and you'll get 100-0 relatively quickly. So he's trying to save his escape as much as possible. So Wuri Lim doing a good job right now. So Wuri Lim holding on as far as he can. was not the Poison Breath, trying to get some work onto him, but Wuri Lim gets him onto another stealth. Wuri Lim, he's going to be half down on his health, but still doing a pretty good job, looking for his opportunity.
Gets a little heal right there, but a little bit. Yeah, there's only a minute left, so if this goes out to the TKO, it's like 1,000% that day.4 is going to win it. But Wuri Lim is not able to get anything done or anything landing on day.4. Finally, this is the first.
Probably the first area on the double knockup is there with the continual damage. 12 combo is what Wuri Lim gets, but not enough damage as he wanted. As you say, Ending, and Wuri Lim is not going to look for the TKO. He's going to look for the knockout, and to get enough damage before this next 40 seconds is over. He has 30 seconds to spare because day.4 will be out of that escape for that time being.
Yeah. Okay, another knockup. Wuri Lim actually has never used his type escape yet in this set. He has used his backstep escape at least 3 times.
Yeah, and it's definitely a smart choice for Wuri Lim as well not to use that. He finally has to use that with the bombard, trying to come up with a stun. That would have been a lot of damage going over towards day.4's side. So Wuri Lim, smart of him to finally use the type escape, but he has to get something going here. But this is day.4's chance to get him into the area, bombard into a lot of damage, and this is going to be potentially over with 5 seconds. If Wuri Lim cannot knock him out with the TKO, it will definitely go towards day.4's way.
Yeah, Wuri Lim, I think he knows that he can't get the win because he has to knock day.4 out in order for him to win as a Force Master going up against an assassin. But let's see the damage chart.
Definitely Wuri Lim with 26,000 damage is going to be touted. By a mile, it's almost
double. It was over double.
More than double of day.4. You saw the damage that day.4 is putting out, but Wuri Lim even healed back some of that health. So obviously, calculation-wise, it's very easy to do the math. day.4 seems sleepy, resident sleeper on hand. So day.4, he's having a good time, but at the same time, I think he's wanting a little more challenge. It was definitely one-sided. What do you think about that matchup?
Yeah, I can't argue with that. Like usually, like we have to try to. I try to keep it as like most evenly non-biased as possible, unless I'm giving my personal opinion sometimes. But this matchup, it was just a straightforward match. It was one-sided. Wuri Lim, if you see the replays, this was probably the only time where he got the double knockup and did some damage, but the rest of the time, like 80 to 90% of the matchup, it was day.4 going back and forth, kind of not playing around, but you know, having an easy time on this matchup against Wuri Lim.
And perhaps the most noticeable thing that we saw from this matchup was that day.4 was putting out damage, but the more important thing I think he did here was that he didn't allow space for Wuri Lim to go aggressive on him. Yeah. And there was no space and no opportunity for Wuri Lim to get a decent amount of damage onto him, unless that's just that one opportunity, but that only got 25% of his health. So just in the end, day.4 just showing finesse in the offensive role and also in the defensive role simultaneously. So these things are what you expect from one of the best players in the game, and he just showed a class example of what he can do.
Exactly, and just for a reminder for the new viewers that are coming in right now, all today's matchups are best out of 4, so each single match, whether it be a tag or a single, they all matter because the first team to reach 3 points will be the winner of this match. So this is the second matchup.
And getting to 3 points is such a quick manner that if you just lose that one crucial point, that can really hurt your momentum. And we're going to see if GC Busan Blue can just run away with this with a 2-0 most likely. Yuntaeson is going to be the next one out on the Warlock. He likes to play certain things, but Warlock has been his staple as of lately. So we saw that in Season 2, he's been playing well. So we know we're talking about day.4 and how his finesse is just under the way, but these other two guys, Yuntaeson and Yoon Jae-jung, they're supposed to be the supports of day.4, trying to support him to have a carry game. But just single performance, their innate talent in itself is already immensely high.
Yeah, and the music has changed, and we will see Yuntaeson's Warlock versus Iran Jang's Blade Master. Who will be the victor of this second match? Let's get it on.
Here we go for game 2 between GC Busan Blue and No Name. Then Yuntaeson on the Warlock, who will be up against Irwan Jang on the Blade Master, who have been notably the most consistent player in this team. So he's kind of trying to put his best effort, but it's against the GC Busan Blue side.
Yeah, and it has been a while where we've seen a Blade Master come out, other than Wanshik Lee's Blade Master recently, ever since Junohan, the Eyebrow Master, has given up his Blade Master. Oh my gosh!
50% health down at the first literally few seconds of the game as soon as his Tether Blade will land, and that's going to be a Leech coming up, and that's going to be almost Sanctum putting down just for defensive measures, but I might not even need it because he's getting already too much damage on the
All the escapes are out for the Blade Master as well. This is not looking good. Maybe this is why Junohan went over to the Warlock for the time being.
And everyone jumping into another stun. That's going to be enough damage to literally finish up in seconds. There's nothing much to commentate about that kind of game when it's so...
It was straightforward. Yeah, you guys, all the viewers, you can see, whether you know the game or not, a game this quick, this clean, you know, it speaks for itself.
And the thing about GC Busan Blue is that they've already acquired 2,000 fighting points.
Yeah.
But even if in the Korea finals, even if they lose every single match and still come out in the last place of where they're currently positioned, they will still likely make it to World Championship.
Yeah,
and even knowing that you can just choose to be relaxing, you can choose to back down and just give these other teams a chance, right? But GC Busan Blue, the team, they're not that kind of a team.
They're savage.
They're always going to look for the best thing, even if it doesn't change your results oriented. But this team is going to go all out on you every single time. And just another example of Yuntaeson's just famous Warlock doing work again. He was 100% health, did not take any damage, and knocked out his opponent just in 1 minute.
Yeah, so now 2 games goes to GC Busan Blue, and No Name is now getting a little bit salty taste in their mouth, going up against the champion team, you know? So we'll have to see in the tag if they're going to be tilted or they're going to pick themselves up and go back at it with GC Busan Blue.
And if you guys aren't really familiar with this matchup of what capability that GC Busan Blue has, this team, No Name, has been surprising up to late, and especially yesterday's matches when they made a miraculous run all the way up to here. But if you guys want me to just clarify what this matchup really looks like, it will be an extreme amount of accomplishment if No Name picks out a single point from this team. And that's how about a mismatch of this team is.
It is definitely a fact. We are not taking sides. It is a proven fact on paper right now. No Name is a very fairly new team who is less experienced by far compared to GC Busan Blue, who has consecutively placed first in the past 2 seasons.
And GC Busan Blue is a team that even the best teams, the other teams, would probably fear. GC Busan Red fears these guys. Coup d'etat fears these guys. GC Busan Blue is at a state where teams are trying to figure out what strats they would have to enter with to even have a chance against these guys. So definitely the best team in Korea has been confirmed over those 2 seasons that we saw them in Blade&Soul Korea, but these guys are just showing an example once again of how they're going to dominate the region once again. But we're going to go on to Game 3 to witness that domination will continue between GC Busan Blue and No Name. Let's get the match underway. Let's get it on. Perhaps that word savage ending is what you said about GC Busan Blue. I think that might be the most accurate term, because GC Busan Blue, they know they have a much easier chance of winning this compared to anyone else, but they're just doing it in a fashion where it's so dominating, where it's so assertive, that the opposition doesn't even have a chance to react.
Yeah, and now we have Yuntaeson, who previously played the Warlock during singles on the Blade Dancer, and Yoonjae Jung, who usually plays a Summoner, or is the Summoner main, is on the Warlock ever since Season 1 this year. So we'll see how, you know, they've been doing this, GC Busan Blue, changing up their classes. So, you know, it's not new to them.
But in the meantime, I have to mention that Yoon Dong-ho already used his tag point to escape in the first 10 seconds of the match. So a lot of domination. We were just saying that word over and over again, but that's clearly what this team is showing. But Yuntaeson, as you mentioned, he has registered 7 classes for the Korean finals, but he's gonna play most of it. He's already playing 2 in his 2 showings today. So this guy can play it all, and he can play it very well as well.
Yep, and right now, as you were speaking, talking about Yuntaeson, he used both of his escapes against Uri Lim, so he had to tag out. What a surprise.
So first tag point being used by GC Busan Blue, so now they're even on both sides in terms of tag points. Now Wuri Lim has sent out, he's going to be on the Force Master trying to face up against the Familiar and the Warlock of Yoon Jae-jung. But this is going to be the one matchup we're going to be expecting to go one way, but the Force Master really has always a tough time against this Warlock, so it's going to be a tough one for Wuri Lim to at least withstand and give his time for his teammate. Another tag point actually being used by GC Busan Blue, bringing Yuntaeson on the Blade Master back out onto the field. Going to be a reactionary interfere from both sides.
Yeah, we have not Wuri Lim, Dongho Yoon and Iran Jang trying to save Wuri Lim using 2 interfere points each. So they have 1 left until the 3-minute mark. They're so busy saving their teammates right now. No offensive moves are made.
Oh, and the lightning draw into the stun. That's going to be enough damage to put him into the lightning. But it's actually the Force Master does come out to save his teammate, to freezing him up. So the Blade Master actually comes out and actually puts good damage onto Yuntaeson as well. So Irwan Jang actually doing work straight away as soon as he is tagged in. So this is a good chance for him now.
Yeah, and as I was talking about No Name's interfere usage, look at GC Busan Blue's interferes. Daeyoung Choi is out of interferes already. Yuntaeson is out of tags already. Yeah. So right now, No Name, they are putting up a fight against GC Busan Blue.
Definitely a good strategy for No Name to keep it defensive for now and try to get the opportunity once they're given to them. But a good job of No Name to get all the resources, a lot of it out for Daeyoung Choi as they get the body swap onto the stun. It's going to be the pull in, most likely from Daeyoung Choi. Pull him in all the way. On the Destroyer is going to get to another stun into the aerial. The interferer will come in on both sides trying to put in the damage and negate it at the same time. The time distortion will come to negate some of that cooldown back on their side.
Alright, Daeyoung Choi is still on the field as well as Yoon Dong-ho.
Not looking good against the assassin, as we all know Destroyers do have a tough time against an assassin. That's a very fair statement to make, but Daeyoung Choi, it's one of the best assassins out there, and Yoon Dong-ho has a lot of work cut out for him. Trying to at least hold on for the next 45 seconds until he can get free tag.
Yeah, and No Name, they all have 1 point each, as you can see on the right side, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Whereas GC Busan Blue is kind of staggering right now. Daeyoung Choi having 2 tag points. It makes sense that he is out on the field.
Oh, the landmine will not connect the
interferer. Ooh, double knockdown though.
Yeah, but the interferer does come in from the defensive side. Oh, that's actually a lot of damage going on to Daeyoung Choi. In an instant, Daeyoung Choi is going to be on the defensive end, and he definitely has to tag out with the slimmest of health that he has available. So Yoon Jae-jung is back out on the field. I think GC Busan Blue might have been a little bit surprised there.
Yeah, good thing they tagged out to Yoon Jae-jung. The other teammate that has a tag point left, so he can tag out when he's in danger. Yuntaeson is still with 3 interfere points, saving that for his defensive
good of Yoon Dong-ho to get a free tag in. The chase doesn't really happen for Yoon Jae-jung. So on the Warlock, he gets to sanction in. The Blade Master ultimate gets 1 stack of 2 stacks, 3 stacks, 2.5 stacks maybe of that damage. But that's going to be a lot of damage already going on to Yoon Jae-jung from that Blade Master ultimate into the continuous damage. So it's going to be a very good use of the resources they have available. Irwan Jang definitely doing a good job in this particular tag match against GC Busan Blue. He's putting in a lot of crucial damage that is really surprising the GC Busan Blue side.
Yeah, Irwan Jang and Yoon Dong-ho actually using 2 total of 4 interfere points early on in the game to save Wuri Lim. Actually might have been a benefit for them right now, because everybody on GC Busan Blue side, only Yuntaeson has interfere points.
I think in addition to that, just using that resource early to become aggressive at such a crucial time, and I think it really adds to the psychological edge that really No Name needs to get in order to win this tag out match. And GC Busan Blue, as you can see right now, their change of play has been really shown. They're going towards a more defensive edge, looking for more opportunistic times to go in on that, but Irwan Jang standing still and standing firm, doing exactly what he's supposed to do against the opposition.
Yeah, Irwan Jang blocked another Teleblade and forced Yoon Jae-jung to use both his escapes. 4 seconds, 3 seconds left for that force tag. Is Irwan Jang gonna chase? Yes, he is getting close. Oh, he tried, but he did get shackled.
The chase didn't happen this time around. The lightning draw does come in for a little bit of damage, but it is Daeyoung Choi on that slimmest of health. He's going to have to be extremely careful. They're not going to be wanting to go 1 man down, but we know Daeyoung Choi can be careful at this time. The Force Master trying to put in the damage through the fire and the ice mixture, but the Wuri Lim, he's going to look for that just 1 opportunity to knock Daeyoung Choi out, which would be a huge advantage going towards No Name.
And an interfere happens, and Yoon Dong-ho only has 1 interfere point left. There's the ult.
ultimate.
Alright, some of it connects.
Some of it connects. And the stun into the bombard. It's going to be almost enough damage. Another bombard coming in. Daeyoung Choi does heal some of his health back. Wuri Lim is at a crucial moment now in the health bar. He's frozen and he will be back out onto the stage. He does escape just in time with the tag, and Yoon Dong-ho is back out onto the field destroyed. Very good play by No-Name despite the amazing efforts put out by Daeyoung Choi.
Alright, so until the 3-minute mark, which has 30 seconds left, No-Name's Yoon Dong-ho has to stay alive for the next 30 seconds until his teammates get an interfere point back.
And Yoon Dong-ho has been doing a good job for majority of this game, trying to hold on for it, but the body swap does happen to Daeyoung Choi. The ultimate does happen, gets a little wee bit of damage, but the stealth mode will negate most of that. But the bottom swap coming into the stun, and then that's going to be enough damage coming in, and the bombard being used by Daeyoung Choi to put in that damage. So with the slimmest of health that Daeyoung Choi came in with initially with this match, he's doing a very good job of holding on and putting a lot of damage. Another landmine connecting to the bombard, and that's going to be good damage going onto Yoon Dong-ho, and he has actually more health, forcing him to use that attack once again to A1 Jam.
And everybody got an interfere point back at that 3-minute mark, so we will be seeing more defensive and offensive interferes. Daeyoung Choi, one more second until that force tag out, and is he gonna whip?
But Daeyoung Choi doing exactly what he's supposed to do during his timeout. He puts all of the damage onto his opponents, forcing 2 tags from No Name, then getting a free tag onto his team as well. So Yoon Dong taking a lot of damage from him. The Familiar is going to be helping to try to protect him, but at the same time, he's going to negate some of that damage, getting to the area, into the damage. Not much damage coming through. He's going to look for a block more than that. Re-knock up into the second re-knock up, and that's going to be A1 Jam taking 50% of damage right there from Yoon Dong's combo.
Yeah, and the defensive interfere came in. Nothing too much has happened. Yes, he
Daeyoung Choi! That's going to be Yoon Dong end up putting enough damage to finish out A1 Jam, and that's going to be forcing Wuri Lim to come out, and it's actually the first man will be down for No Name instead of GC Busan Blue. That's what he does. That's actually going to be the correct move! He gets the Force Master ult! He lands the Force Master ult. That is extremely hard to hit, and he gets it onto Daeyoung Choi out of anyone else.
Oh, geez, what just happened? This is back and forth trading players.
It just seemed like he was tagging in at the wrong time, and he got hit by the Force Master. And Wuri Lim will be knocked off by Yoon Dong's just burst of damage coming from the Warlock. But now Yoon Dong-ho, we know that the typical story of Destroyers going trying to go up against multiple players, but this is looking very unlikely for No Name unless Yoon Dong-ho can somehow pull off a miraculous play against these 2 players.
Yeah, Wuri Lim did try his best landing that ult, predicting that ult, and landing it on Daeyoung Choi, getting rid of a crucial player on GC Busan Blue. However, Wuri Lim getting revenged by Yoon Jae-jung, and now it is a Destroyer all alone by himself.
And I think after Wuri Lim did hit that ultimate, I think he was a little bit too excited. And really had to go on the defensive end straight away because he had been lacking that on that cooldown. So he had to go on the defensive, but I think that loss of focus allowed him to get hit by that crucial damage from the Warlock, which knocked him out straight away. So now Yoon Dong has too much work cut out for him. The Sanctum will come out, and it's going to be looking for the finisher. The Yuteson has one interference that he can work with. Yoon Dong going to be looking to be finished out solo by Yoon Jae-jung. Yoon Jae-jung trying to finish him solo now. There's going to be the interfere coming in from Yoon Tae-sun, and that is going to be the win for GC Busan Blue. A much closer battle, a much better effort by No Name, definitely.
It was definitely a close match. I thought it would have been a sweep.
Yeah.
But this was definitely a good match. Even though No Name lost, I praise them for their plays.
And I think 4-0 is not a fair showing of exactly what they've been showing. Obviously, the singles were a little bit one-sided, as we know the individual talents of JC Busan Blue were definitely at a much higher level. But with the tag match, we can definitely see that No Name played the right strategy going forward in the early game, going defensive, and then try to look for the opportunity to put in that burst amount of damage, which actually startled GC Busan Blue at one point. But
I'm pretty sure GC Busan Blue was surprised. They're
definitely,
like, I thought it would have been an easy bike ride.
I think they would have expected the same, but just getting that burst of damage, which surprised them in a way that they had to shift back to a defensive mode. But now Wuri Lim has done a good job of putting down consistent damage and even almost knocking out Daeyoung Choi at one point. But in the end, Daeyoung Choi just stood out. He became that solo carrying his team, just forcing 2 tags from the side of No Name. Then that just became the beginning of the comeback for GC Busan Blue.
Yeah, GC Busan Blue, that Daeyoung Choi tag in was actually to negate the Force Master ult during the tag in and tag out time. But however, the timing was wrong, and Daeyoung Choi came in and he got that, and he just died with that 3 hits.
It's definitely hard to predict getting hit by the Force Master ult. It's not a common sighting for any of us. So day.4 probably didn't expect that damage to come in. It was the right decision, maybe just at the wrong timing. But a very good showing by GC Busan Blue, who do get an expected 4-0 sweep. Of course, not in the manner that we most expected it, but here we are for GC Busan Blue already advancing to the next round of stage.
Yep. I'm gonna be honest. I did predict. I was thinking in my head that GC Busan Blue would have probably won, but more in an easier fashion. But No Name definitely did give them a a good fight.
Like a run for their money, basically. Yeah. So definitely, we're gonna see No Name officially being eliminated out of the tournament. It just seems like
they might have a losers match.
Oh, the losers match will be coming up in the futures match in the future weeks, but. Definitely elimination from this series in particular, and they will lose out 4-0 against GC Busan Blue. So GC Busan Blue already looking good and really dominating as we always picked them. But we're going to go to a short break, and we're going to be back with the second match, so don't go anywhere, guys.
세계적인 역사 최성균 인사 올리겠습니다. 어떻게 생각하지? 이런 식으로 상대방의 머릿속을 들어가서 판을 해버리고 제가 텔레파 시간 보내보겠습니다. 뭐가 필요하십니까? 한 15초는 돌릴 수 있는 딱 상대방 다 어떻습니까? 그게 팀이에요? 그냥
2017.
Okay.
Welcome back. Well, welcome back. We couldn't hear ourselves. So welcome back to Blade&Soul Korea 2017 Korea Finals. We're back again after Game 1 having ended towards the dominating side of GC Busan Blue over the no-name squad. So we're up to the second match coming up. How do you feel about the second match coming up?
Well, I feel that you're about to lose your voice from all the excitement. But anyway, it's okay. It's okay. I got you covered. But we do have IDES versus Full Swing for our next matchup. And, you know, I have to talk about all the champion stage teams because we haven't seen them for the past week or a week and a half. So on IDES, we have Sang-ho Kim, the online god, Jung-ho Yoon, the FM god. Yeah, and Dugin Kang, the former KFM god as well. So like we have a lot of good players, you know, bunched up in one team right now in IDEPS, and they are going up against Full Swing, who has, you know, had a little bit of a rough time, not too much, but a little bit of a rough time making it up here. So, you know, we'll see how much they've prepared after this VCR.
안녕하세요. 아이뎁스 팀의 강덕인, 윤정호, 김상욱입니다.
대회 올라온 모든 팀이 그냥 다 힘들다고 생각을 하거든요. 직업끼리 모여서 서로 시너지 효과를 받을 수 있는 직업이 거의 없다고 봐요, 저희 조합은. 그렇기 때문에 그냥 모든 팀이 다 힘들다고 생각을 해요.
아무래도 이제 우승을 2번이나 벌써 한 수산 블루가 어렵지 않을까. 최대영 선수가 너무 잘해요. 지금 너무 물이 오를 만큼 올라가지고 좀 약간 신들린 것 같아요. 얘가. 너무 잘해. 아이고.
블루팀 자체가 그냥 최대영 선수를 서포트를 되게 잘해줘요. 그냥 혼자서 뭐든지 다 할 수 있는 그런 상황을 블루팀 자체가 다 만들어주기 때문에 가뜩이나 대영이가 너무 잘하는데 또 팀원들이 너무 잘 받쳐줘서 서로 그냥 호흡이 되게 잘 맞는 것 같아요. 저희가 정말 연습 시간이 많이 부족해서 저희들끼리도 되게 불만족스러웠는데 남은 경기들 저희가 연습 열심히 해서 그 누구도 예측할 수 없는 그런 상황을 보여드리겠습니다.
제가 시즌 1이랑 2 때 개인전에서 되게 많이 부진하는 모습을 보여드렸는데 그 점을 좀 많이 보완해서 개인전도 이기고 태그도 이기고 그런 좋은 모습 보여드리겠습니다.
주술사가 없다 보니까 좀 되게 힘든 것 같고 제가 개인전은 지금 좀 잘 되고 있는 것 같은데 태그에서는 좀 부진한 모습을 많이 보여드렸어요. 그래서 조금 더 연습을 해서 태그에서 좀 좋은 모습을 보여드릴 수 있도록 열심히 하겠습니다.
We got to see a VCR from IDEPS, and I think what you're trying to say with IDEPS is that consistency has always been their worst enemy.
Yeah.
Just like Sang-ho Kim, as you say, the online guy, he's always a good online player, but just when it comes to these offline tournaments, he's had instances where the offline tournament didn't really translate from his online tournaments.
Yeah, many instances. Yeah. And anyways, I just want to talk about Jung-ho Yoon finally. We've seen many Force Masters in the Challengers League or Challenger stage, but finally we get to see the Force Master, the Force Master. Unfortunately for Jaesung leaving us, he was the legendary Force Master. However, now Jung-ho Yoon has taken the torch, and now we get to finally see the right way to play the Force Master.
And for me personally, I mean, Jung-ho Yoon was basically the only example of Force Master that I've ever seen. So
that is true for you.
Just setting that standard so high was really just a rewarding thing for me, but I didn't realize to the fact that when other Force Masters would have came up to the scene, especially in the Challenger scene, as you mentioned, when they were not as good as Jung-ho Yoon, that just kind of disappointed me to the fact that for me to realize that not everybody is good as Jung-ho Yoon in the Force Master.
Yeah, maybe you should take a look at Jaesung's Force Master plays back in the day. It was unbelievable. However, so the reason I also mentioned the Force Master is because they both have Force Masters. On screen right now, we have Full Swing, and Hyuki An is also a Force Master. That is his main, but we'll have to see how well he plays. And if by any chance Jung-ho Yoon and Hyuki An becomes a mirror match of Force Master, I want to see how they play as well. I want to see if Jung-ho Yoon still has his wits to go up against anybody, including a mirror match, same class, and able to beat him or not, or have a hard time or not.
But it wouldn't be fair to say that Hyuki An has been playing bad, because that wasn't really the case. He's always been playing consistent. It wasn't to the best efforts and not to the extent of Jung-ho Yoon probably, but just perhaps thinking about what his extensive level is. He's been consistent. And he's been playing the same way for most of the time. And obviously you see the percentage of the fan vote going heavily towards the IDEF side with 95% going their way. It's understandably. And just everything about this matchup is expected to go as always to the championship side. And with all that 4 teams and the 4 matches that we have today, it's always geared to towards the left side to the win. But we're just always looking for surprises, and I think compared to the last match, I think this one should be a little bit closer than the previous matchup.
Yeah, we'll have to see. But the one big difference is that Full Swing, they do not have any assassin. The same goes for IDEF, they don't have a warlock, but they do have an assassin. So they do have their ups and downs. And what is happening?
Jungwoo on the Force Master will be going up against his apprentice, Hyuk-An on the Force Master as well. So the first one will be a mirror match between the 2 Force Masters, and how this actually ends up, we're gonna have to find out. But we're kind of expecting Jungwoo to show him class and really down on Hyuk-An's moderate Force Master play. So domination probably expected, but we're gonna obviously just look for surprises as well.
Yeah, I'm always down for surprises. However, if Jungwoo by any chance loses to Hyuk-An, then what do I become?
I mean, boy, we're going to have to find out what you will become, because the first match will be underway between IDEFs and Full Swing. Game 1, the first singles of the series between the 2 teams, will get right underway. Let's get it on. And here you go for the first match between IDEFs and Full Swing. We have Jungwoo, the legendary Force Master, on the left, and the moderate, relatively uprising Force Master on the right, with Hyuk-An for Full Swing.
Let's keep Jaesung at the legendary, and let's keep Jungwoo at the current best, because he is still playing the Force Master during the tournament. So yes, we do have the current best Force Master on the field, going up against, you know.
And actually the Phantom Grip coming in, but actually it's going to be both escapes already out for both sides. So Hyuk-An actually showing some answers to the questions that Jungwoo is throwing out, but the Meteor is getting a good damage onto Hyuk-An. Is already losing 40% of his health already. So Hyuk-An, without the escape available, he has to be careful for what Jungwoo can throw out.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Wow. There's actually more damage coming out.
A Force Master Mirror is a straightforward match.
And that's going to be continuous amount of damage. And one more hit all to do it. But Hyuk-An survives for the time being. But Jungwoo is not going to look for any answers. He's going to be looking to finish right away.
He doesn't have to look for any answers, because Hyuk-An has no answers against Jungwoo right now. Look at this health bar difference.
Even that Phantom Grip doesn't really despise him of any sort, because Hyuk-An, he knows that he's extremely
now it's Hyuk-An
trying to put the Meteor same back to getting actually approximately 30% health just from that Meteor alone, but the escapes are once again out on both sides. So
very similar cooldowns right now.
It is very similar. So Hyuk-An, knowing Jungwoo is on the same cooldown level, is actually good effort by him, but Hyuk-An has to be extremely careful. He has 20 seconds that he has to somehow survive. Hyuk-An gets out of the ice early, so frees himself, trying to get some health back, not getting much health back. So Hyuk-An has to really look for this chance to really stand up on. 10 seconds is all he has left. Actually putting a lot of damage onto Jungwoo. Jungwoo is going to be looking for a chance to finish him. He has to finish him quickly. He's going to get the escape back relatively quickly. So Hyuk-An, actually, I mean, putting down actually good finishing touch. Actually, the escape was almost there.
Yeah, like he literally got it back as he was getting his last hit.
He knew that too. You can see it on inspection that Hyuk-An, he knew that he had the opportunity going his way. He had the finishing damage, the returning damage that he was turning back to him. And Jungwoo, obviously we knew that he was going to win out this one, but I think Hyuk-An showed a lot of fighting vigor for that.
Yeah, and seeing many mirror matches in the previous matchups or in the previous tournaments, to be honest, I thought a FM mirror match would be super boring, but it's better than a Warlock mirror match, to be honest.
A Warlock mirror match,
this was definitely exciting.
And putting papers up to your face is not very fun, so Warlock mirror matches are not the most fun to watch. But Force Masters is actually just a proving point that we really wanted to see, was whether Hyuk-An can stand up to the challenge that Jungwoo his status that already has been established for himself whether he can provide an answer. I think he did provide some of that answer back to him, and I think it was a very close matchup if he had used that escape once they came back on the cooldown.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. Jung Ho-yoon, pray for victory, always with lucky and glory.
Thank you for reading out. That's going to be a very good one, too. Really good for Jung Ho-yoon. I don't know if he needs any more cheers than what he already does. He's already been dominating in his role, so Jung Ho-yoon, a very trustworthy player for IDEPS, and he's always been the more consistent player compared to the likes of Sang-woo Kim, for example. So IDEPS are going to be looking to trust him, even in the tag matches that will be coming up pretty soon. But the first match does go over to Jung Ho-yoon for IDEPS.
Yep, and be aware or remember, guys, that this is best out of 4. First team to reach 3 points wins the game. So each matchup is very crucial and important. And for the second match, we have Sang-woo Kim on the Assassin versus Byung-tae Che on the Warlock.
And we can translate really Sang-woo Kim's performance from day in and day out, because they will be different.
Yeah, every single day.
It just seems sometimes he brings that same online performance back to the offline stage, and sometimes he just stutters and it just becomes that weebly that we don't expect from Sang-woo Kim on the online stage. It's just so inconsistent as to how his performance can really go back and forth, and we just have to see which side of Sang-woo Kim he brings up today.
Yeah, we don't know. He probably doesn't know either. He has to start the game. He has to start clicking his mouse and his keyboard to know which side did I bring today.
Definitely
did I bring
did
I bring the good side or the bad side?
On the full swing side, you see a lot of nervousness on his expression, but we're going to move right on to game 2 between IDEPS and Full Swing. The second point will be crucial. Going up against best of 4 is going to be the second match, the second singles of the series. Let's get the match underway. Let's get it on. Here we go for the second match between IDEPS and Full Swing. IDEPS picks up the first one to get them a 1-0 advantage, but Sang-woo Kim is going to be the second one out for this team. On the Assassin, as always, is going to be against Byung-tae Che on the Warlock.
Yeah, we have two very, we have one mobile character and we have one very fantastic animation character, Warlock. So we'll have to see which one is more exciting to watch, who will take the victory.
Trading the damage evenly towards both sides right now.
Time distortion.
Time distortion will get the cooldown back on the escape that he has already used. So Byung-tae Che has a little bit of advantage for now, using the Sanctum to his advantage, but Sang-woo Kim does go on the stealth once again. Trying to gain some of that damage, so Sang-woo Kim healing some of that health back. A little bit, but Byung-tae Che on the Warlock, he's going to be looking for his chance. 9 seconds left remaining before that cooldown's back out on his escape, so either Byung-tae Che makes a move now or he's going to have to play against a Sang-woo Kim with an escape available.
Yeah, they are doing the typical escape trade-offs right now. Nothing too much crucial happening, but that landmine landing on the Warlock, knocking him down.
Good effort by Sang-woo Kim to try to have them, but the Warlock is going to be putting in damage with the escapes not available again for Sang-woo Kim, so it's still on cooldown that he has to work with. So Sang-woo Kim has to be a little bit careful. It's not an automatic win in this case, and Byung-tae Che has a lot of resources over Sang-woo Kim's as well. So he's going to be with the familiar, almost going back down to cooldown. There's going to be a chance for Sang-woo Kim to make something of that. He finally uses the escape.
It is done for the Warlock. It is done. No escape.
And there's going to be enough damage to come through, and that is going to be it for Sang-woo Kim, picking up the second win for Team IDEPS, and now they are up 2-0.
Yeah, good at getting Sang-woo Kim using his leaves. He had 10 seconds left on his stealth tab escape, and he got into stealth at just the right moment to buy himself time and CC the Warlock to take out his tab escape as well, and then go aggressive, land another CC to finish him off. And that was well played by Sang-woo Kim. It was a little bit dangerous, however, he made it happen.
Definitely we were feeling a little bit nervous for Sang-woo Kim in the early stages of the game, but he definitely pulled it through with the crucial moves near the end. Byung-tae Che got a little bit excited for the opportunity that he got, that he thought that he was going to nearly beat him out. So very opportunistic by Byung-tae Che, but it was good effort by him. But in the end, the crucial mistakes, in the end, that's kind of what the crucial into the literally the KO in the end.
Yeah, right here. So he made him use the escape and then went aggressive with the mine into the knockdown, and just, when you're out, I always say it, when you're out of escapes against an assassin, you're just done. Whatever class you are, you're done.
I think it's the true thing. When you're up against a matchup with an assassin, that's kind of be the only class, the most important class to keep your escapes as long as you can.
Or you have to stagger it. If you have 2 escapes, you have to stagger one another to, you know, use one when you're about to get the other one back, and use the other one when you're about to get the first one back. So unless you can't do that, unless you get hit by all the CCs that the assassin throws, then you're just gonna lose the match.
And that's the many cases that we saw already in this Blade&Soul Korea finals, is that, you know, when you give the assassin an edge regarding those escapes, another stun, an additional stun will go the assassin's way, putting a lot of damage in an instance. But we're up to game 3 now with IDEPS and Full Swing gonna be going on for this tag match. IDEPS can eventually finish this off if they get a win right here with the 2 points, and that will be enough to finish out the series. But I don't think Full Swing is going to be ready to give this out yet. They're going to have to get back the 2 points and get it back to even.
Yeah, it is actually up to the challengers team that made it up into the champion stage to beat the champion stage teams to make a name for themselves. Because if they are unable to do that, it just proves or shows us that, you know, they don't belong here because they are unable to beat them.
But that's the clear statement being made initially, but we're going to see as to whether that statement is completely true, because Full Swing, they have one more opportunity to keep their series alive with a win right here against IDEPS. Let's get this tag match underway. Let's get it on. Here we go for game 3, the tag match, which eventually could be the last match between these two sides, and IDEPS are going to be definitely looking for the finish here. A clean 4-0 is what they're probably looking for. Byung-tae on the Warlock is out for Full Swing against Sang Kim on the Assassin this time around. So it's a repeat performance of the second single that we just had a minute ago.
Yep, Featherblade lands. The leaf was used by Sang Kim right off the bat. Byung-tae playing the aggressive game right now.
Oh, that was actually very close, but the Force Master Jung comes just in time to freeze him up, negating many of that damage, which would have been crucial towards Byung-tae's side. So Byung-tae doing a good effort, but obviously you can't negate all the interference that's going to come in defensively to save your opponent. So very good efforts being made by Byung-tae nonetheless.
Yeah, if you just noticed, Byung-tae made a Venn diagram with the Sanctum and the Time Distortion, and he was in the middle of it. He's like, yep, I'm getting both. Yeah, but it was very well played on Byung-tae's side. Sang Kim is out of escapes again, and Byung-tae also forced Jung Ho-yoon to come in for a defensive interfere, making them use resources. That is what you need to do against such a strong team.
And we know that IDEPS is lacking the Warlock class in their tag components, and that's going to be the difference maker when you do have the Time Distortion to get your cooldowns back on the crucial escapes. But, you know, since you don't have that, that's going to be the one advantage Full Swing is going to be always looking at, especially with the interference that you can use with the Warlock. But whenever you are out of the escape, you will be out of that escape for the time being.
Yep, and Sang Kim is out of escape again, whereas Byung-tae, but both of them have 10 seconds left for that force tag out. So we'll have to see which one lands that CC right before they are force tagged out, so their teammate can actually chase right after.
Also putting in a moderate amount of damage, but putting on the stun, and it's going to be the interfere coming in, the tag will happen, whether the chase will happen, we have to see that. But it's not going to be happening too much around, so nothing too big happening from that chase. But Hyuk-yang back out on the Force Master against Jung Ho-yoon, his sensei.
Oh, look at the damage! Look at the damage!
Actually, a lot of damage from Jung Ho-yoon. The legendary Force Master putting in the damage onto his apprentice, and Hyuk-yang is out in an instant from 100 to 0 right away.
That was Jung Ho-yoon and Sang Kim doing a duo. Jung Ho-yoon keeping him in the air, doing damage, as well as Sang Kim's bombard and the assassin damage.
And this Blade Dancer tried to the lightning draw to negate some of that damage, but Sang Kim putting already a lot of damage on the Dongjin Park already. So being one man down, being half health to one of your other allies is going to be a very tough situation for Full Swing.
Wow, if you guys noticed, Hyuk-yang died with 2 tag points, 3 interfere points. This is something that happened yesterday with another team.
Yeah.
But that team ended up losing that match. So,
you know, what you want to elaborate on the ending is that the amount of resources that you have available, especially during the late game, is so vital as to what you can do with the flexibility that you would have with all those resources available. But with all that 2 tag points and 3 interfere points, just left remaining with Hyukyan as he's just eliminated is going to be a crucial resource disadvantage towards Full Swing.
Yeah, that just gives items for them to use two tag and 3 interference points more. Like, you know, if they, like, sometimes, you know, they want to save it, but they could just use it now because Hyukyan died with a total of 5 points.
Well, speaking of resource points, items is pretty consistent on how they're using it. They already used 2 tag points. Bringing in Duggan Kang on the Blade Dance this time around, so Byung-tae on the Warlock has to do some work on it. He has to get his team a little bit ahead. They're completely behind in many resources right now, so few efforts will do it, but the Warlock, that damage putting onto him will be the start of all that.
Oh, the assassin comes in for the interfere. Defensive reactionary interfere.
Oh, but the both damage is going to both sides, but getting them more towards the items side, and items taking more out of that trade. And Byung-tae, a good job of using that interfere to his advantage and getting a lot of damage onto him as well.
Yeah, and if you guys have noticed, Duggan Kang, usually the KFM main, is on the Blade Dancer right now, has taken so much damage, and he is back on the bench, and we see Jung Ho-yoon, the Force Master. It is so good to see a good Force Master.
Dongjin Park putting all that damage from the Blade Dancer onto Jung Ho-yoon as well. Jung Ho-yoon had no answers to that whatsoever, but now he's going to look for the counterattack himself, putting in a lot of damage from the Force Master. He's going to have to look to get escape for the Dongjin Park right now with the slimmest of health that he has to be careful for. He does have his escape available if he chooses to use it. Now, this is a chance for Silent Kim to come back out.
Silent Kim tags in, uses the ult, but does not land it. And you know, Jung Ho-yoon is not scared. Like, that much health, like 20%, 30% health, is enough for him to play around with his opponents because he's such a formidable Force Master.
Definitely, we've seen examples of that where that statement really is true. But Dongjin Park, regardless of that, but he did a very good job of putting down the damage. The landmine doesn't connect. The poison breath trying to do the body swap into the damage, and that's going to be going on to the continuous damage that Dongjin Park has to be watching out for. And the webbing does go on for Silent Kim's side. He's going to be forced out, tagged out onto Byung-tae on the Warlock once again. Now they're completely running low of the resources. Let's still look at that 2-3 points on Hyukyan Fi. Who would have had it? I'm talking about right here. This is what I'm talking about. In this mid to late game, when you have those resources available, it makes such a big difference when you don't have it.
Knockdown, Shadow Slash.
Body swap is going to be happening. The stun is going to be leading up to the damage, and he's going to look for this opportunity. Now Byung-tae is out of his escape, so Silent Kim is going to be looking for one more opportunity to put in that crucial stun to put in a lot of damage onto it.
Definitely, and Dongjin Park has that one interfere. They definitely want to try to use it as an offensive interfere to get rid of one of the players. However, I'm just predicting that it's going to be used on a defensive interfere right now. And I think that's what they really have to avoid. Another landmine connecting, the poison at this time not connecting, but trying to get some attack onto Silent Kim, onto Byung-tae. Is going to be trying to look for the damage. Byung-tae really not countering for this damage that Silent Kim is trying to put out. Another stun coming onto it. The assassin trying to put in the damage. 5 seconds is all he has left to put in as much damage as he can before the force tag is coming in. And like you said, the interfere does come out defensively. Now they're left without the interfere point available. Now Dongjin Park will be back out onto the tag as with Duggan Kang on the another tag being used, being forced onto Jung Ho-yoon. So they didn't want the Blade Dancer this time around, so they wanted the Force Master to hopefully finish him out. The re-knockup eventually gonna actually gonna negate himself. They're gonna back roll himself out of that back roll. Oh, look at that heal! The heal coming from Jung Ho-yoon. When you hit that frozen Force Master, you are going to give him a lot of health back, and Dongjin Park regretting that decision. The ultimate did not connect this time around, so Dongjin Park, good effort by him, but not connecting this time around. Now this time, Jung Ho-yoon's going to slow it down. But he does Phantom Grip him in, but it's not going to make a difference. So
not getting the full effect of that Force Master ultimate as you would want, but Dongjin Park actually doing a good job with the lightning draw, putting in the continuous amount of damage. Now Tab Escape having to use that defensive interfere, using the time distortion to give Jung Ho-yoon back his escape, back on his track, but it just seems like Dongjin Park doing a very good job of holding on with the 45 seconds that he has to hold additionally longer.
Yep, and during that 3-minute mark, they did get that interfere point, and Byung-tae used it right away, as well as Duggan Kang. However, Sang Ho Kim still has his interfere point and tag. So if Jung Ho-yoon lasts for the next 35 seconds, Sang Ho Kim will come out. very comfortably, and you know, it's not looking too good for Full Swing.
Definitely being a one-man down is already enough of a disadvantage for your team, but once you have very little resources to work with, in Dongju Park, it's going to have only 15 seconds that he has to either stall out or put in a crucial amount of damage. He's not going to be able to interfere in, so that's not going to be very much of an option for these guys, but Dongju Park trying to put the lightning draw into full effect and put in the damage when he can. 5 seconds, all he has left is the 5-second difference between the force tags between the two teams.
Force tag,
the chase is not going to happen. The tab escape is going to be happening. The chase will try to go on, but it only summons the familiar and doesn't get the damage onto him.
Yep, and they both do a chase back-to-back, making each other use their tab escape.
Yep.
So they are both out of their tab escapes. However, they do have their secondary escape, the body swap and the leaf. So we'll see who is forced to use that first.
And one thing to keep note is that Dongju Park still has his interfere left available, so he has to use it somehow. But obviously, the offensive use of that would be for the better use to knock off a teammate. But it's looking very hard with all the healthy members that IDEPS has currently available. So they're not going to be looking for a good chance, but it's really going to be tough to come by.
Yeah, they're definitely healthy right now. Their health bars are very healthy. They've been exercising, and there we go. They actually try to come in for offensive interfere. However, they make nothing out of it.
Sound Kim puts the distance between those two players and really allows nothing to come about.
day.4 gets rid of the familiar at least.
Yeah, but it's not going to be good enough effort because Youngtae, without the familiar, he has to somehow pull off a miracle to get some solo damage onto Sound Kim. But
bad breath.
Jong Yoon is still having all of that interfere still available. He has 2 points of that still available. So even if Sound Kim falls into a dangerous situation, he can come to free him up with that interfere. So it's to be a very tough situation for Full Swing all around. The ultimate trying to connect, but it tags just in time. So very good use and negating all of that potential damage. And Duncan Count on the Blade Duster is back out onto the field.
This is what happens when you have resources to spare and you are in the air, Byung-tae. Not looking good. 3 seconds left for the force tag.
And the 7 seconds is all they have other than left in the TKO.
Oh, they finish him before he gets force tagged out.
But 3 seconds is all they have. Dongju Park healthy enough, but it's not going to matter. The TKO most likely going towards the IDEP side without any argument. This is just a one-sided show that these guys showed, and just healthful members. All 3 of them from IDEPs against the 2 knockdown on it, and just everything that IDEPs did right was really shown once again today.
Yeah, if Full Swing had an assassin, they might have had a chance because IDEP's Jong Yoon actually healed up a lot. But IDEP's having an assassin as well, and Full Swing not having an assassin, the damage difference is definitely, even though with Jong Yoon's heals, it's still it has to go to IDEPS, and it does go to IDEPS 4-0 sweep. Same thing with the first match. So is there going to be any challengers teams that are going to actually challenge the champion stage team?
And the second time around, it proved to be a no once again, but Full Swing, I think the crucial mistake when that was that, you know, Hyuki An died so early on that Force Master with all those resources available, as you see right here, and just dying with 2 tag points and 3 interfere points that potentially could have been used offensively or defensively towards the late part of the game, which would have been crucial part for this team. But not having that absent is just so bad and so really disappointing. Especially when you get towards the late stage.
Yeah, definitely. And like in the beginning, it was kind of close until Hyuki-an died, as you just mentioned. And from then on, the 2 left, Byung-tae and Dongju Park, they tried their best. They lasted actually a very long time. I commend them for going into a TKO just with 2 players from like early game. But still, if that's going to happen, starting early game, it's going to be very hard for your team to win.
But as you know, Andy, you're never going to win with just holding on, never putting out the damage. So that's what they didn't accomplish in that part of the assignment. So Full Swing putting their best efforts to keep in time and trying to make their best efforts to do that. But IDES was definitely the best team this time around.
Yeah, and it seems like we're going to soon go into commercials for a quick break. But after we come back from the break, we're going to have Coup d'etat versus G-Fam. And like I said in the beginning of the cast, I'm very excited for this 3rd match.
And you're going to see Coup d'etat for the first time in this Korea final, and we're excited just as much as you are. But like I said, we're going to go to a short break, and so we'll be back shortly. So don't go anywhere.
세계적인 역사 최성균 인사 올리겠습니다. 어떻게 생각하지? 이런 식으로 상대방의 머릿속을 들어가서 판을 내버리고 제가 텔레파시랑 보내보겠습니다. 뭐가 필요하십니까? 한 15초는 돌릴 수 있습니다. 딱. 소대박 타임. 어떻습니까? 그게 팀이에요? 그냥.
Welcome back everyone to 2017 Blade&Soul Korea Finals. We're on to our third match of the day, and we already saw two challengers teams trying to really just challenge the champions team, but it didn't work out with the first two efforts. But can you see it possibly happening at all today?
Yeah, I don't know if OGN planned this, but as you know, the matches progress, like the third matchup right now, Coup d'etat versus GFAM, I think this will be more of an interesting game. One of the reasons being, like we talked about before early on in during the cast, Coup d'etat did have a roster change, so that might have affected their teamwork. Not saying that the new member is bad or Coup d'etat is bad or anything. It's just having a new member during mid-season that's gonna fiddle with your team chemistry. But let's watch this VCR first.
안녕하세요. 쿠데타 팀의 김신겸,
권혁우, 막내 김변우입니다. 저희가 시즌2 때 G2리그 나왔었는데 그때 뭐 3등 안에 못 들면 해체한다고도 말씀을 드렸고 해서 해체를 했습니다. 하고 나서 좀 더 좋은 팀을 찾다가 뭐 쿠데타 팀이 한 자리가 된다고 해서 그렇게 뭐 합류하게 됐어요.
서로 더 성공할 수 있는 그런 팀에 가기 위해서 하다 보니까 팀이 뭐 이렇게 옮겨진 것 같아요. 일단 김변호 선수가 잘해서 데려왔는데 잘하지 못하고 그냥 자꾸 죽더라고요. 이게 링공사는 죽으면 안 되는데 죽어가지고 좀 문제긴 한데, 김변호 선수도 연습 많이 한다고 하니까 뭐 믿어보고 이 세 명의 시너지를 발휘할 수 있게 더 많이 준비하면 저희도 충분히 더 지금보다 높은 데에 올라갈 수 있을 것 같아요. 저번 코리아 시즌2에서 4강에서 처음으로 떨어지다 보니까 제 자신한테도 실망을 했고 좀 더 많이 연습을 해가지고 실력 끌어올리려고 하고 있고요. 저희 팀원 3명 다 노력해가지고 확실하게 월드 챔피언십 진출권을 따내고 다음에도 더 좋은 모습 보여드릴 수 있도록 하겠습니다.
신겸이하고 저는 국가대표를 한 번도 놓친 적이 없기 때문에 이번 해에도 무조건 나가야 하지 않나 싶습니다. 직업을 제가 변경을 했는데 주술사 위주로 많이 하고 있어요. 피지컬을 끌어올린다면 플레이오프는 무난하게 가지 않을까 싶습니다.
제가 버려졌거든요. 걔네는 원래 대회를 안 나온다고 했었는데 제가 아니면 저를 뭐 부수러 나왔다고 하는데 뭐 말도 안 되는 소리를. G2링 팀에 있을 때 오비니 때문에 진 경기가 좀 나왔었거든요. 남들이 봐도. 그것 때문에 여러 번 있으니까 좀 화를 좀 냈죠. 서로 감정 안 상하게 그냥 재밌는 경기 했으면 좋겠습니다. 박경민 씨 저희를 부준다고 하시는데 그것도 제가 또 권사 킬러기 때문에 뭐 박경민 씨는 그렇게 신경 안 쓰고 있습니다. 최대한 열심히 해서 꼭 좋은 성적을 거두도록 하겠습니다.
And as you just mentioned, it is a new addition to the Coup d'etat side, and we have Byung-Woo Kim, who is originally from G Touring, coming to this side. But the biggest mystery here, ending, is that whether G Touring kicked him out or whether Byung-Woo Kim decidedly left the team on his will. That's the biggest question. According to this interview, Byung-Woo Kim is saying that he was actually learning that the fact that they, after not doing so well in the previous season, they were going to be disbanding, and then he was going to be looking for a new team because he wanted to continue to play as a professional player. But the story behind that is that we heard in the last week's interview that G Touring thought that Byung-Woo Kim wanted to lead the team, and it had nothing to do with the disbanding. But whether the mystery is really not having the answers to it yet, but all in all, we're just trying to look for a good game here, and just layering up against GFAM, and like you said, the new synergy between these new players, that's going to be the very important thing as to whether Coup d'etat has improved or even has gotten worse over that last season too.
Yep, and personally, the biggest question for me is Hyung-Woo Kwon really going to play the Warlock? Because you have Shinhancard Kim, who is probably a top-tier Warlock, a player who actually got the Warlock nerfed. So I don't know if Hyung-Woo Kwon is actually going to play the Warlock, to be honest. And another big thing is that the player Hyung-Woo Kim, who was on the Assassin for Coup d'etat, left. So they lost an Assassin. So who will take the role of the DPS for Coup d'etat? And on screen right now, we passed through Coup d'etat. But right now on screen, we have GFAM, we have Suwon Kim on the KFM, only registered with KFM. And we have Wanshik Lee on the Blade Master and the Blade Dancer. Yeah,
registered for 2 classes.
Yeah, but more like 99% he's gonna play the Blade Master. And we have Min Jung, the grill though, one and only girl pro player in Blade&Soul currently on the Summoner.
Definitely Min Jung-ho is one of those players, the only female player in this tournament, and she's looking to be the first female player to make it to the World Championship, and that accomplishment would be quite a feat for any kind of player, and it will be a big inspiration to all the female players out there. But GFAM has looked much better this time around, especially during the Challenger scene when we saw them in day one, but they're going to have to put up a lot more game because Kudeta will be definitely a different beast to work with.
Yeah, and like I was talking about before, I wonder what Kudeta are going to bring out as their competition during tag and even in singles. But, you know, GFAM and Kudeta, they are both a formidable team, and I'm very excited to see, you know, how this matchup will play out with the roster change and with maybe even class changes as well.
And the Kudeta, the biggest question will be, like you said, the class choices that each player will make, because they're so versatile as to when what any of them can play. Other than Byung-Woo Kim, who's going to be stuck on the hard stuck on the Blade Dancer most likely, but Shingan Kim, Hyuk-Kwon, we've seen these guys play many different classes and be successful at it as well. So whether Shingan Kim will bring the Soul Fighter again, we'll have to actually find out about that as well. So the meta changes are always happening. Shingan Kim will be the first one out, but not on the Soul Fighter, but on the Warlock against Suwon Kim's KFM.
Yeah, this is going to be very exciting to watch because Shinjan Kim's Warlock is like kind of like Jung Ho-yoon's Force Master. Yeah. Like, it's not like any other Warlocks. When Shinjan Kim plays as a class, he makes new combos. He does something so unexpected. Like, the people who think of the unexpected can't think of his unexpected. Do you guys understand what I'm saying?
I think I understand it.
He makes everything so much more interesting.
And that's the finesse of Shingan Kim is that he's always been renowned as one of the best players in the world in this Blade&Soul scene. And, you know, he's been shown time and again in singles. That's his biggest strength. Going forward with this momentum, and you're going to see whether Shingan Kim can do it again for the singles against GFAM. He will be up against Suwon Kim's KFM. The first match between Kudeta and GFAM, the first single will be right on your way. So let's get going. It's definitely exciting to see Kudeta again. We miss these guys and we miss these performances that they have been putting out, and Shingan Kim is definitely one of those people, and starting us right off, putting a 50% damage on
a re-knock-up.
A re-knock-up and additional damage.
And he didn't even use Leech yet. That just started off with the Tether Blade off the start and just... Wow. And there we go. Suwon Kim is actually coming back at him.
He's trying to put in some damage on the counter, but he's going to be looking for this. But I don't think Shingan Kim's going to be very nervous about the situation at all, because Suwon Kim is going to be beating down the Familiar, which is going to be completely fine. But Suwon Kim, he's going to be recording that damage. Putting that knockup into the air, so Shingan Kim now in a little bit of trouble. He still has his escape if he chooses to use it. Another knockup coming up.
And now this is going to force Shingan Kim to use his tab escape.
And knockdown will be happening. He's still saving. Whoa. And he's still not using his... I think the audience is surprised. I think you heard the screams from the audience.
Wow.
I
just got the goosebumps.
Hey, but can you explain to me why he couldn't use the tab escape? He had it clearly out there.
Well, if you noticed, Suwon Kim clearly kept putting him in the aerial. Yeah. And I don't know, at the end when he was pile drive down to the ground, I think Shingan Kim was just saving it, but he got into a re-knock-up. So there was basically like a total of 4 to 5 knockups done by Suwon Kim.
My goodness.
So in the beginning, this Tether Blade start off was just, was expected from Shingan Kim's Warlock.
And literally 70% going in the first 10 seconds of the game. And we thought Suwon Kim didn't have what it took. Didn't have what it took to really come back from this one. But like you said, the continual knockup, never ending. Shingan Kim, to be fair, he had that one chance to use the escape. That might be it, but like that just... He dies with the escape available, and GGG definitely over to GFAM side, and definitely a win for GFAM. Is going to get the 1-0 victory. This is the first point acquired by a challenger team over the champions team, so good of GFAM to really acquire that for the first time.
Yeah, that was like, I love Shingan Kim. I love Suwon Kim as well. Both of their plays are amazing. Shingan Kim showed off that start off Tether Blade damage, like half the damage.
Yeah, literally.
Warlocks usually don't do that in the beginning. They're more cautious, but you know, it's Shingyun Kim, like I said.
Yeah.
But Suwon Kim just came back at him. But I don't know. They're showing the judges. Maybe there was something wrong.
It has to be. The reason I asked you
well,
was
at the end, if you noticed, Suwon Kim didn't CC Shingyun Kim, so he can't use his escape when you're not CC. So that's why he couldn't use it at the end.
It just seems so unusual as to why Shingyun Kim. I think he had a lot more room space to really use that tab escape if he had it available, but I don't know. There's no signs coming from producers right now. So we're going on to the game 2, and the game 1 will count towards GFAM getting 1 point for their team, but Wonshik Lee is going to be the second player to try to add to that point and get it to a 2-0 victory over Hyuga Kwon on the Destroyer, as we always notice from him.
Yeah, well, all of you KFM players that had a hard time against the Warlock, now you have it. You smite him to death. That's what you do. But anyways, yeah, we do have Hyuga Kwon against Wonshik Lee. Let's see how this will play out on the second match.
And the Destroyer is something that we don't see as often nowadays in Blade&Soul, and we get to see a singles performance out of Hyuga Kwon, a very formidable Destroyer at that. We've seen very good instances from this guy, and we're just expecting him to do the same. But Wonshik Lee, specifically, he has improved over these seasons, and definitely a now more consistent player to work with. Now he has to go up against Hyuga Kwon of Coup d'etat to get the 2-0 lead for his team GFAM. Game 2 will be coming right your way. Let's get it on. Game 2 between Coup d'etat and GFAM is now underway with Hyuga Kwon on the Destroyer versus Wonshik Lee on the Blade Master. But as we mentioned just earlier, Wonshik Lee definitely has improved on his mechanics and also his decision making, more importantly. But Destroyer Hyuga Kwon coming out on the initial attack, forcing out the escape already from Wonshik Lee, so he's going to be down on that for the next 30 seconds.
Yeah, Wonshik Lee actually was the only Blade Master recently to be able to beat Jung Ho-Yu's Force Master twice in a row. So let's see how he does with this Destroyer, but he's not doing well.
Wonshik Lee already forces out the escape from Hyuga Kwon, so this is going to be a chance for Wonshik Lee to put in some damage, but again, he's going to the knockdown from the Destroyer. He's going to continue to spin, putting more additional damage onto him. 5 seconds left until Wonshik Lee has his escape back, but he's going to be putting a lot of damage before he does get it back on cooldown.
Yep, Hyuga Kwon is out of his escape for the next 8 more seconds. Wonshik Lee has to play aggressive. Oh my god, but
he's getting him to grab, and he's going to put it the punching into the face, and that's going to be a lot of damage.
With the Ember Stomp down right now.
And Ember Stomp will be adding to that insult, and the Wonshik Lee has going to be looking for some answers. He already used the tab escape already as soon as he gets it back. So Hyuga Kwon is at a very good point now. Now he has to look for the counter with Wonshik Lee.
He reflects that!
Judgment Cleave coming will likely be coming in. That's going to be enough
that
damage.
Reflect was crucial. The Judgment Cleave was nothing. That reflect by Hyuga Kwon was just amazing. That just won him the game. That would have actually taken out Hyuga Kwon. Wonshik Lee, oh gosh, I'm losing. Hyuga Kwon, amazing. That reflect on that was the loss and giving Hyuga Kwon the win for that match just now.
So just a translation, what Ending is trying to say is that, you know, we're trying to say that Judgment Cleave obviously is the visible effect to all the damage coming in, but that reflex was the inevitable part for what Hyuga Kwon actually might have regretted if the Blade Master Wonshik Lee could have landed that skill, and that would have been a lot of damage going on to Hyuga Kwon's way, and that might have actually been crucial and giving a lot of advantage towards Wonshik Lee's side.
Yeah, and we are actually constantly saying that Wonshik Lee did improve, and the reason we are saying that is because, you know, like I mentioned before, Wonshik Lee beat Jung Ho-Yoon's Force Master this year twice, not just once, twice.
With the Blade Master.
Yeah, with the Blade Master. So actually, Eyebrows was jealous of him as well, because Eyebrows actually hasn't beat Jung Ho-Yoon yet on his Blade Master, on Jung Ho-Yoon's Force Master. That's why we are saying he has improved, but I guess not against the Destroyer.
But you know, it's not any other Destroyer, but it is Hyuga Kwon's Destroyer, and he's very famous for his works and all the finesse that he shows with that class. And you know, just Wonshik Lee, he tried to do it and get his team a 2-0 lead, but it's not going to happen this time around. And Game 3 will actually be our decider match. Will get us to either team to 3 points, and the tag match will be the crucial one, getting them their early lead in this tournament going to the next round.
Yep. All right, so 1 point apiece. We have this tag match. this will be the last match because it is a team to the first 3 points, to acquire 3 points, who will take the victory. So this tag match, let's see how much GFAM has prepared, and let's see how much Coup d'etat has molded their new member into their team.
And this is actually in addition to your comment ending, is that the tag matches weren't really the coup d'etat strength. Yeah. That were the really the points that they lost in the previous seasons that really crucially got them out of that first place spot. Yeah. So what's holding them back from this being the best team in the world is really these tag matches, whether they have improved with this new play. We're going to have to see against GFAM's tag match coming up, and number 3 game coming right your way. It will be the last match of the series. Let's get it on. Here we go for the confirmed last match of this series, and I told you Soul Fighter is back for Shinhancard.
Yes!
And he is back out on the legendary class that he's been famous for. I mean, he literally got the entire NCSoft organization to nerf this class just because of his performance. So he's bringing it back again for this tag match.
But yes, the Soul Fighter actually has been nerfed. So we'll see how well he performs with the nerfed Soul Fighter that is out of the meta now.
And the nerfed Soul Fighter, already having used to his escape, already has to bring the defensive interference. Actually transitions that over to offensive interfere, putting that lightning draw to put a damage onto Suwon Kim, which he did not expect out of that.
Yeah, Byung-Woo Kim's Blade Dancer, the new member, actually using a defensive interfere very well, making it into an offensive interfere.
Kung Fu Master versus a Soul Fighter is very interesting matchup to say the least, and Suwon Kim beat Shinhancard last time around, but it was against a different class with the Warlock. So, but first of all,
Dragon Tab Escape. Oh, ground ripple into the chase right there. This is what Shinhancard's Soul Fighter is.
And Soul Fighter heals all of that HP right back on his tracks, and Suwon Kim takes the damage in return. And Shinhancard still having no escape for the next 20 seconds, but he's still going to go in aggressively nonetheless.
Kick into the aerial. Offensive reactionary 2-on-2. What
the
hell
going into the immediate
the aerial was too high.
Just the summoner making all that magic work out. So the Soul Fighter putting in that Blizzard, trying to put in that damage onto him, but Suwon Kim now pretty even in terms of health compared to Shinhancard. 13 seconds is all they have left until they have force tagged out. They're going to freeze himself up. Shinhancard is going to be freezing the KFM. Nothing happening to it yet. No knockup coming this way for Suwon Kim. It's going to be a force tag happening for both sides. They're keeping their distance to negate any type of chase opportunities.
Yep, and we have Hyogo Kwon with the golden fish axe. And we have Wanshik Lee again. This is a redemption match, and there we go. First aerial by Wanshik Lee. Defensive interfere coming in by Shinhancard.
So Shinhancard trying to put it in the Blizzard once again, trying to put some effect going to his way, but mostly the interference coming from so far has been on the defensive end.
Damage.
But no defensive attempt on that one because he puts in the Judgment Cleave combo onto Wanshik Lee just for a little bit of damage. But he's looking for a lot more than that. Wanshik Lee has to look for the counter, but he's stunned up.
Again. Oh gosh. Yeah, Wanshik Lee is just getting
the stun coming up once again, but Wanshik Lee still saves his escape for now, but taking a lot of damage, taking him to the aerial is going to put him in the knockdown. The power drive is going to be knocking him down. Hyogo Kwon is going to be trying to put in some damage. Wanshik Lee trying to look for some counter as well.
Yeah, we are hearing a lot of things now. That's the sound of the reflect done by Hyogo Kwon.
Yeah.
You don't want to hear that when you're playing against a destroyer. That means, you know, it got countered.
The offensive interfere attempted by GFAM, but not too much damage coming towards Hyogo Kwon. He's going to heal most of that back with a stone shield. It's going to be relatively healthy for once again for the next 25 seconds where both players will likely be tagged in for free.
Yeah, we won't know if this will go down to the TKO, but if it does go down to the TKO, Coup d'etat is going to have a hard time because they healed up so much health.
You see right now, Shinhancard coming in for Shinhancard, putting in the Blizzard, trying to do it once again. But Suwon Kim does come back out, using the tag point to get himself back in.
Ooh,
look for this opportunity.
2 more seconds for the force tag.
The chase will be likely to happen. The force tag, it doesn't happen. Actually, the other way around. The counter chase coming from Byung-Woo Kim onto the second aerial is going to be looking to the lightning draw. The very typical combo this time working around for Suwon Kim, putting a lot of damage onto that side.
Yeah, Rising Dragon negated. Byung Kim.
Oh, they interfere. Shinhancard Kim doing actually a very good job coming for that reaction and negating anything that the G-Fan was trying to do with that interfere.
Yep, now they're back to Byung Kim and Min Jung-oh. Min Jung-oh is first time out on the field today. Let's see how much she will do against a new player, Byung Kim.
And definitely we have emphasized the importance of resources regarding the tag points and the interfere points, but definitely Coup d'etat has been doing a good job of using that to their efficient ways. GFAM already has used 2 tag points, one on each side, and Min Jung already takes a little bit of damage. He's going to be using the first tag point as we speak from Coup d'etat, bringing Shinhancard Kim back out on that Soul Fighter.
Oh, look at that chase. He does not miss that chase.
Wow, that was actually a tag point being used, but the chase still happens. A quick reactionary action for Shinhancard Kim on that Soul Fighter, so very good job on getting that chase.
Yeah, Suwon Kim was running towards that because his teammate interfered and knocked him down, but he couldn't make that.
Suwon Kim trying to look for some answers on how to deal with this Soul Fighter. So KFM, not the many times that he's faced up against this class.
Ground Ripple. There we go. Shinhancard Kim doing a lot of damage.
Whoa,
tags out. Ooh, Suwon Kim just ran away from that, like super quick.
Suwon Kim had to, because he was taking a lot of damage before he would have regretted taking crucial lethal damage that would have killed him. But Wanqing Lee is back out onto the field using that last tag point from Suwon Kim. Suwon Kim is out of his escape for now, so Wanqing Lee has to look for something to happen. But Shinhancard Kim holding his worth very well and doing everything that he's supposed to do right with the time he has available.
Yeah, Shinhancard Kim. I'm so happy to see Shinhancard Kim Soul Fighter back
working out.
There we go. He's gonna go immune for 5 seconds. He's gonna make it. He's blocking everything. Wanqing Lee's blocking everything.
That's the finesse of a Blade Master when you can block everything that's Soul Fighter trying to
Windstorm
throw at
combo.
you. But it's gonna be not gonna be happening this time around. The 1 minute mark for Wanqing Lee is gonna be what he has to stand out for. Shinhancard Kim, and this is gonna be a dangerous situation where if GFAM can make this work out, put a lot of damage, but doesn't do so actually put a lot of damage on the Hyeogu Kwon coming out for the defensive interfere, but doesn't work out that time around. The lightning draw that's coming out on putting damage onto Min Jung-oh. Not as much as they wanted.
Yeah, but they have to put as much damage as they can if they were coup d'etat, because they have healed so much. Hyeogu Kwon and Shinhancard Kim, they constantly heal, especially if you have a Soul Fighter. Chi burst all of your health back. It's not going to be good if it goes down to the TKO right now.
So coup d'etat definitely getting the free tag once again. I think they're now at this point where it's the 3-minute 40-second mark. Now Min Jung-oh is going to be stunned up. There's going to be Judgment Clean coming to his way, and that's going to be not using the tab escape now being used by Min Jung-oh. That's going to be looking for this counter attack damage on the Hyeogu Kwon. It's going to be enough damage to knock him out, and it's going to be forcing Shinhancard Kim to come back out onto the field. That is a good damage from that interfere come GFAM.
But anyways, yeah, Min Jung-oh is doing work, but Shinhancard Kim comes out to revenge his team.
Shinhancard Kim get enough damage to knock off Min Jung-oh.
So much Windstorm.
That is so much damage coming onto Min Jung-oh. As soon as his teammate died, Shin Kim looked for the immediate revenge, and he got that onto the one-man down.
Marshall stands into
this is
the area. Another Windstorm combo.
Back and forth, and Shinhancard Kim is now on fire, trying to do all the damage, potentially what he can do with that. And Suwon Kim is in a very dangerous situation. He should be tagging out, but he has no tag points to work with. So he has to stay out with the interfere, trying to finish him out. And Shinhancard Kim with this teammate trying to finish this team out, but the interfere coming in from the G-Fan trying to protect this team at all costs. This time it doesn't work around for Byung Kim trying to come in for the interfere. So Suwon Kim at a very dangerous situation for 1 more minute.
That he has to stand out. Back roll chase. Shinhancard Kim never misses that chase.
And he's going to play aggressive. He's going to go out for the tag, trying to look for a safer kill onto Suwon Kim from the Blade Dancer. This might be it. The interfere is going to be coming in. The tag from the Byung Kim is going to be successful.
Look at him using his ult. Look at Shinhancard Kim heal.
Oh my goodness.
Look at Shinhancard Kim heal.
You know what I mean? The lightning draw is gonna the Blade Dancer ultimate. Blade Dancer ultimate is gonna be coming out, and it's gonna be missing that part this time around. But Wanqing Lee is now at a very tough situation. It is a 2v1 battle that he has to tough out with, but Wanqing Lee is gonna be very nervous about the situation. He has to play every part of this correctly.
Another dink right there. Byung Kim reflected that again. Wanqing Lee.
The lightning draw is going to be happening. So Byung Kim doing exactly what he's supposed to do against this Blade Master, putting in damage that Wanqing Lee is getting nervous and more nervous as the time goes by.
Yeah, 40 seconds until coup d'etat is going to get interfere points back. So until then, Wanqing Lee is still better than, you know, his opponents having tag points, I mean interfere points, so he could do a 1v1.
Oh, the Sandgrid coming in. The stun is going to be getting into the second aerial. Another aerial most likely coming up. That's going to be continuing a little bit more damage. The lightning draw is still on cooldown, so another stun onto the second aerial. And that's going to be the third series of aerial finishing him off. And Wanshik Lee is out, and GFAM has lost those 2 points over to Coup d'etat, and now Coup d'etat has rightfully gained those 2 points.
Yep, and they have taken this match 3-1. Remember, today's matches are all best out of 4, so first team to reach 3 points is the victor, and Coup d'etat winning this tag match obtained 3 points, and they are the victor. And Byung-Woo Kim, the Blade Dancer, actually
did a really good job.
Very well as Shinhancard Kim going back to the Soul Fighter. I have to admit, it is not as good as the old Soul Fighter. Like, I've seen the Soul Fighter when Shinhancard Kim and Geum-sung Hwang were going up against each other with the 2 best Soul Fightings. But yeah, this time around, like, I understand now. If Shinhancard Kim touches a class, it just becomes good. And that's what we have seen today, even with the nerfed Soul Fighter.
And another conclusion that we saw from today is that the Challengers team can't get a win against the championship team. And GFAM put up their best efforts and did get 1 point out of Coup d'etat, but it wasn't enough to get those 3 points that they needed to clinch out the series. So another championship team with Coup d'etat picking up another win on that left side. So we only have 1 team left to go, and hopefully they can give us the miracle that we've been looking for.
Yeah, and I also want to mention something, I don't know if I want to put it a disappointing way, but Wanshik Lee, I don't know how many things I heard from him getting his move reflected and getting counter stunned many times.
Yeah.
And this was actually the start of this end that we just saw in the replay was the start of that thing done by Byung-Woo Kim countering Wanshik Lee's stun, and that actually finished the move. But, you know, Hyegu Kwan got a ding, Byung-Woo Kim got a ding. Like, Wanshik Lee is going around, you know, giving reflex to many players, and I feel sorry for him. I'm pretty sure he's gonna hear some stuff from his teammates, but
perhaps,
it's an unfortunate situation.
It is, and Coup d'etat just outplaying their opponents one by one once they were in that tag situation. When you have to go up against your opponents, and you have to be the better player all around to become the better player and win out this series in the end. And Coup d'etat does exactly that, this time in a 3-1 fashion. We are going to go to a short break, and once we're back, we're going to be coming with the last match of the day with GC Busan Red's first sighting against G20. So it's going to be an exciting one to watch. Let's get the match, and we're going to be getting to the break, and we'll be coming right back to you guys.
세계적인 역사 최성균 인사 올리겠습니다. 어떻게 생각하지? 이런 식으로 상대방의 머릿속을 들어가서 판을 해버리고 제가 텔레파시랑 보내보겠습니다. 뭐가 필요하십니까? 한 15초는 돌릴 수 있는 딱 상대방 다 어떻습니까? 그게 팀이에요? 그냥
Welcome back, everyone, to 2017 Blade&Soul Korea Finals. We are in our last match of the day, and day 4 has been exciting as to. We were asking a lot of questions as to whether the challengers team will be able to beat out the champions team, but so far, in 3 occasions, it has been no.
Yeah, but there was hope when GFAM actually won, took away 1 point away from Coup d'etat. But now we have GC Busan Red with the roster change. Unfortunately, Jinyu Park, retiring personal reasons, leaving the team, and we have Hyungyu Kim, formerly from Coup d'etat, replacing Jinyu Park and coming in as the assassin on GC Busan Red. And we also have G touring the new member Young-un Che, also the assassin. So we have 2 new members, the 2 new assassin members on each team. So depending on which team actually copes better with the new member might have the victory. This is not about who is the challengers or who is the champion team. Yeah. They are both pretty equal right now as of the new team changes and team works. We'll have to see and get into the match to actually decide which team is a better team.
I mean, we did get a seeing of G touring in our previous week, and we saw what they were capable of. But I think from all the challengers team that we saw from the previous week, I think G touring was probably the most dominating force in the team. And like we say, I always mention the Young-un Che's addition to the team seems to be a blessing from the sky for this team. And just everything about this team, it just makes sense with Young-un Che in the lineup, adding that finesse, adding that dynamic to the team. And we had to see how that actually translates into GC Busan Reds. We're still mysteriously curious of what this team is like, but we'll get to actually see that in the VCR.
Yep.
안녕하세요. 저희는 새로운 GC 부산 레드의 한준호, 최성진, 김현규입니다.
제가 GC 부산 레드팀에 오게 된 이유는 원래 쿠데타 팀에서 시즌2가 끝나고 포지션상의 문제로 좀 겹치는 부분이 있어서 캐릭을 바꿀까라고도 생각을 하다가 마침 진유 형이 개인 사정상 못한다고 하고 준호도 저한테 연락이 와서 저희 팀하고 잘 얘기하고 더 좋은 방향으로 서로 갈 수 있게 팀을 옮기게 됐습니다.
형규 형이 저희 팀에 와서 연습을 해봤는데 생각보다 더 잘 맞았고 지금은 되게 좋은 것 같아요. 파이널에서는 많은 기대 부탁드립니다.
살아있는 부분이죠.
솔직히 지금 가장 어려운 팀이라고 하면은 그 같은 소속에 있는 블루팀, 서로를 너무 잘 알다 보니까 서로의 이 허점도 잘 알고 있는 것 같고, 저희도 생각이 더 많아져서 블루팀이 가장 어려운 것 같고, 반대로 좀 쉽다는 팀은 뭐 쿠데타 팀, 어떻게 보면 이제 쿠데타의 에이스라고 우리가 생각을 했던 김영규 선수가 저희 팀으로 왔고, 그 나머지 2명은 제가 누누이 얘기하지만 개인전은 강할지 모르겠지만 태그적인 부분이 약한 친구들이기 때문에 쉬울 것 같다라는 느낌이 강하게 듭니다. 월챔의 한국 대표로 나가고 싶은 이유 중에 하나는 다른 나라 대표 친구들이랑도 같이 어울리면서 인사도 하고 싶고, 제가 작년에 좋은 성적을 거두었으니까 그때 그 짜릿함 때문이라도 꼭 나가보고 싶습니다.
항상 1등을 목표로 준비하고 있었는데 생각했던 것만큼은 좋은 성적도 내지 못했고, 이번 시즌에는 제가 조금 더 잘해서 높은 성적 내고 월챔 가서 더 좋은 성적 내도록 하겠습니다. 쿠데타 팀이요? 만나면 이기죠. 만나면 이겨야죠. 신겸이랑 혁우는 예전부터 저를 이길 수 없던 친구들이기 때문에 이번 대회에서 확실하게 재밌게 즐기기 위해 팀으로 옮긴 거니까 한번 붙어보자, 친구들.
이번에 코리아 파이널에 임하는 각오는 시즌 1, 2보다는 좀 무겁습니다. 진지하게 대회에 임해가지고 꼭 좋은 성적 내볼 테니 많은 응원 부탁드리겠습니다.
오기 쉬도록 열심히 하겠습니다.
I think the last statement being made at the end by Sung Choi was the important one. They're going to take this Korea Finals much more serious than they did in Season 1 and Season 2, which is an understandable statement because a lot of people have been speculating with the innate talents that always been there with GC Busan Red. They haven't been getting the result that they really kind of deserved for all the talents that they had.
Yeah, and today is the start of that day for GC Busan Red to prove themselves and to us that they are worthy of that GC Busan tag. And right now on screen we have the 3 players and their registered classes. Sungjin Choi, of course, only the Destroyer and the Blade Dancer. Probably not gonna use the Blade Dancer as much anymore because he did that last season and it did not play out too well in his favor.
And definitely, we got the new player with Hyungju Kim, who's able to play the Blade Dancer himself. So that kind of part you can always count for that as well. So if you need some backup, Hyungju Kim is one of those versatile players that can play multiple classes depending, just based on the registration sheet that we have here for him. But Junohan and Sungjin Choi, they're gonna be very staples at their typical warlocks and typical destroyers that they always are. So
and like you guys just saw on screen, their flexibility on the classes, as you just mentioned, Hyungju Kim registered many classes. Sungjin Choi only 2, but Junohan still could play the warlock, the Blade Dancer, the Blade Master. I don't know if he will come back with the Blade Master. I want to see, the legendary Eyebrow Master, But now on screen we have G Touring, we have Jungmin Park on screen right now. We have just passed by Woo Bin Cha and Young-Won Che. And right now, look at their flexibility. They can play a lot of characters, and they did not just put it down just for the show of it. They can definitely play all these characters.
And definitely the main point of focus for G Touring is that guy in the middle, the man in the middle, the Young-Won Che, the new addition from this team, from the team Unknown that you guys remember from Season 2, who have been a rookie team but really showed themselves for the first time, but doing extremely well in their showing. But now they're in this tournament, and obviously Unknown has been disbanded for personal reasons as well, but Young-Won Che decided to continue on playing and found this new seeding in this new organization called G Touring. But they're going to be up against GC Busan Red. They have been very satisfactory in the way they approach the Challengers team, but they're going to be up against definitely a much more tougher opposition with the GC Busan Red.
Yeah, and I just want to mention when the camera was passing by G Touring, I don't know, like, I just thought of this now, but Young-Won Che, why does he look like an assassin? Like, he looks sharp for some reason, and like when I see him, like, without knowing what class he plays, I would have probably thought, hey, that's an assassin guy. I don't know, maybe it's just my personal opinion.
I think you can say the same thing about Sungjin Choi, that manly voice of his going like all low and stuff. Yeah, he can be a destroyer, definitely fittingly. So, I think sometimes you have to be born with certain type of characteristics to play a certain class in Blade&Soul. So definitely Young-Won Che, very fitting class for him, assassin for him. So just all that aside, we have to see result-wise whether they can pull this off.
Yeah, definitely. And just a reminder, once again, best out of 4, first team to reach 3 points. The first 2 games will be the singles worth 1 point, and the third match will be being worth 2 points. But first, here we go for the first set. Junohan on the Warlock and Young-Won Che on the Assassin.
This is really the excitement match because they have to be the statement makers for their team. Junohan is basically the leader of the GC Busan Red side, and he has to make a statement for his team. Whereas Young-Won Che, he is the new addition. He is the new spark for the team. And he has to become the statement maker for G Touring against GC Busan Red. So it's going to be the first match, and a very important one to make a clear statement towards their opposition to who gets the lead in the first match.
Yep, and I don't know, they showed the set, and usually we go straight into the match, but there might have been a little bit of difficulty. I didn't hear anything yet.
But that just gives us more time to talk before the matches begin. So unless the music changes, we're still going to continue on with this because there's so much to talk about between GC Busan Red and G Touring. We counted out the first 3 challengers teams of this today. They're going to have a tough time against the championship counterparts, but I think G Touring has probably the closest chance to really upset the champions team, and GC Busan Red has to be nervous about their situation.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. G Touring is, in my opinion, probably the strongest challenger team that made it up to the champion stage right now. Not excluding GFAM, but since we already gone past GFAM and they have lost today, we only have G Touring left to root from the challengers team, and let's see how they do against, the first matchup, Young-Won Che against Eyebrows.
Junohan has always been a staple with his appearance, just as his skills. It has been both great, and Junohan has never disappointed. Even when his team was behind, he's always tried to be that single-man carry for his team. So he's always been consistent, and no matter how bad his team has been, he's been the one to perform and create an example by force for this GC Busan Red side. But I think we're going to still continue on with this. I don't know if we're going to get to the game anytime soon. But it seems like GC Busan Red is going to be waiting to open up this match with a clear win and making a statement towards the opposition.
Yep, so I don't know. The first match, Junohan on the Warlock and Young-Won-Chae on the Assassin. And I don't know, second match, it feels like Hyung-Kyu Kim, the Assassin, is going to come out most likely because they're not going to send out Sungjin Choi's Destroyer when they have an Assassin on their lineup. So it's probably going to be Hyung-Kyu Kim on the second match. But I'm so excited to get started with Juno Han versus Young-Won-Chae.
But we're going to actually get onto the first match finally between GC Busan Red and G Touring. The first match will be the first tag. First singles will be the first match of this series. Let's get the match underway. Let's get it on. We finally begin the first match between GC Busan Red and G Touring, which is expected to be probably the closest matchup of what we had in day 4. Yep. Juno Han on the Warlock will be the first one out compared to Young-Won-Chae on the Assassin for G Touring.
Young-Won-Chae is on the wall. He is scared because he should be, because Juno Han's Warlock is not to be messed with.
But definitely Young-Won-Chae is not going to be the scariest of the fours. He's going to go in when he has a chance. The body swap does happen. He's going to go in aggressively because we've seen this guy do amazing things against the challenger opposition. But as we said, this is a different team that he has to work with. GC Busan Red is a tougher opposition. Juno Han definitely is one of the tougher oppositions out there.
Oh, he actually gets hit by that landmine in the Sanctum. Nothing too crucial is happening yet. No escapes have been used. There we go. The Tether Blade actually lands, gets into the aerial.
Oh, gets him into the aerial. Young-Won-Chae taking a lot of damage, but escapes from that relatively quickly, not taking too much damage from that. Time distortion will happen from Juno Han. Getting the Tether Blade reach right back.
He's getting poked. Young-Won-Chae is taking some damage now. Ooh, you don't want to get poked by a Warlock.
That's true, and Young-Won-Chae has to look for an opportunity now. He does try to get the skill right back in, but the familiar does come back, and it's going to bother him a lot more this time around.
They are both trying to play it safe. Juno Han has the wall behind his back. The
landmine
actually does connect, yes.
He's going to be hitting towards the familiar. The familiar has no work coming out. The body swap has happening. He's trying to put in some damage onto it. Gets a little bit of damage onto Juno Han. There's a stun. It's going to be in his way and gets him into the area. This might be the start of something good for Young-Won-Chae and gets him into the webbing. It's going to be the start of Juno Han's return. He has to get to a little bit of defensive form of what he just saw Young-Won-Chae is capable of.
Young-Won-Chae, with that webbing, he did not capitalize with the web, unfortunately. But, you know, he does get his leaf back now. Juno Han still has his body swap on cooldown for another minute.
Young-Won-Chae is going to be looking for that last bit of the fight, but if it gets into the area, Juno Han's going to be looking for the damage now with the familiar, trying to get that work. But the escape does happen from Young-Won-Chae, and he's going to be using that flower to his advantage. And now Young-Won-Chae is going to be looking for a quick survival for this last 45 seconds.
Yeah, unfortunately, Young-Won-Chae not being able to use the flower. It goes into cooldown for 30 seconds.
The webbing, and that's going to be a start of something, but he's going to get to the familiar, putting some damage on it as much as possible before GC Busan Red's Juno Han gets off of that webbing.
Time distortion was used. He will get his leaf back in 2 seconds. 20 more seconds left for this matchup, and Young-Won-Chae definitely wants to do a little more damage onto Juno Han right now if he wants to win or secure that win in the TKO. 10 more seconds left.
Definitely onto Juno Han, who has done more damage, it seems, though he has healed up a little bit, but Young-Won-Chae obviously taking more of that trade, so
not looking good.
Looking better, taking additional more damage, but actually gotta even end it before the TKO even has come up. So getting the first win for GC Busan Red is Juno Han, the leader of this team, getting the first points for his organization.
Yeah, Young-Won-Chae does not seem too happy right now, whereas, you know, Juno Han is happy that he has taken the first point away from G Touring. But Young-Won-Chae, I don't know, it just seemed the overall gameplay of this first set was very slow. They were both playing it super safe in the early game towards the mid game, and nearly at the end, Juno Han just got a couple of knockups that, you know, just gave him the victory, and that's the primary damage for the Warlock, the double knockups.
And the primary difference of Young-Won-Chae's performance today compared to what we saw in the previous week was that he has been a lot more aggressive and very been opportunistic about his plays coming up, but it It's either Junohan not giving him the distance to make such plays, or Youngwoo just changing it up just because he had a tougher opposition. It's a mystery that we have to be answering for, but you know, it was a good effort by Youngwoo, but not enough damage to finish him off in the end.
Yeah, there was a moment where Youngwoo, actually there was 2 moments when Youngwoo webs Junohan and he could not capitalize on it both times. So I think that maybe Youngwoo is rethinking his strategy going up against Junohan, or just going up against a Warlock overall. But you know, unfortunately for G-Touring, they gave up the first round, the first set. We will be getting ready to go into the second set.
And definitely, I would think that Youngwoo's playstyle should remain consistent if they want to have the best chance of defeating GC Busan Red. What they've been doing against the Challengers team have been satisfactory, and I think just that same type of strategy going in should be pretty effective against GC Busan Red was our prediction going into this series. But GC Busan Red, I think, really just putting a statement onto them right before the game of their status in this current tournament. And they know they're one of the tougher teams to go with, but as you said, Hyungwoo Kim is going to be the second one out on the Assassin against Woobin Cha on the Blade Master, it seems.
Yeah, that is a surprise. Woobin Cha this season played the Warlock. Last year, he played the Soul Fighter. So, yeah, like we said before, they do register many classes because they are able to play it. And Woobin Cha is actually one of those guys that have been swapping swapping classes. And today, this time around, he's gonna bring out the Blade Dancer against this Assassin.
It was a Blade Master.
Okay, Blade Master against Hyungwoo Kim's Assassin.
Which really adds to the surprise that you said Blade Dancer, and I think that would have been a very formidable secondary pick for this guy. But Blade Master is what we're going to see from Woobin Cha against Hyungwoo Kim, the new rising star from GC Busan Red. Is going to be the second match of the day, and we're going to get to the match right underway. Let's get it on. We are on to our second match between GC Busan Red and G-Touring, and GC Busan Red were able to gather up that first point of this series. Now Hyungwoo Kim is going to be out on the Assassin for GC Busan Red, trying to get that second point for this team. It's going to be against Woobin Cha's Blade Master this time around.
Yeah, and Hyungwoo Kim brings out a pet. Just for your information, the pet does not affect anything, does not get the buff in this PvP arena, so he just brought it out for the looks. But, you know, it's not helping him. He's taking all the damage, and he is out of his tab escape. Just put down the flower.
Yeah, Woobin Cha doing really well for the first parts of the game and doing a lot of damage. He's going to pull him in, doing a lot more damage from that as well. Woobin Cha took essentially no damage. He's going to take one now as he gets into the stun into the area to left. The Frozen Mine, the Ice Mine this time will be the choice for Hyungwoo Kim. But Hyungwoo Kim does try to go back to it. He's going to try to look for the initiating attack. As soon as he comes back down the ground, gets him into another stun, gets him into the series of attacks that puts him a lot of damage.
Chase!
And Woobin Cha actually using the tab escape to escape from that, so he's going to be left without that as well as Hyungwoo Kim is going to be out. But another stun is going to be coming. This is the typical situation we know of Assassin. Once you get into that stun, it's going to be continual damage. It's going to be enough for him to knock him out. So good of Hyungwoo Kim to finish him out with that continuous damage. We know that one stun is all that Assassin needs to put in that series of damage to finish your opponent off.
Yeah, there was a moment that was good with Hyungwoo Kim. What is it? Woobin Cha, I'm sorry. Yeah. Woobin Cha tab escape. Dazed Hyungwoo Kim did some damage, and then Hyungwoo Kim, they were trading off escapes, and then at the moment where they were both out of escapes, Hyungwoo Kim lands that CC, and what do I always say? When you're out of escapes against an assassin, you're done for.
And it's definitely a statement maker being made by GC Busan Red, because we knew that the Challengers teams were definitely the underdogs always going into this matchup against these champions teams, and G-Touring is technically the Challenger team, the underdog against GC Busan Red, and currently seems like that way with 2-0 already heading towards GC Busan Red, and G-Touring not showing too much strength in this particular series.
Yeah, and Woobin Cha actually coming out with the Lightning build. Nowadays, it's a meta if you're going to play a Blade Master, like majority of the Blade Master players that still play it, go with the Fire build. But Woobin Cha brought out the Lightning build, and maybe that could have been, you know, a miscalculation. Who knows? But another point goes to GC Busan Red, which means we will be at our potential last set of today.
And Woo Min-cha really picking up that Blade Master was a surprise in itself. We thought he might have prepared something interesting that we did not know about, but to our disappointment, it wasn't anything special that was good enough to beat out Hyungi Kim's Assassin. But it's going to be game 3 now, as you mentioned. It could potentially be the last match of this series, and GC Busan Red can comfortably come out with a 4-0 victory against G-Touring, but G-Touring will not likely to let that happen. They're going to put in the best effort to get that 2 points back for themselves.
Yeah, now this is the real match. We are basically done with the singles. We do have one at set 4, but this tag is what really matters. It's worth 2 points, and this is where teamwork, like I mentioned, they both have new members. This is where, you know, practice shows how much they practice, how much they prepare, how well the teamwork is synchronized on both sides.
And perhaps the most important part of G-Touring was this tag match in the previous week. Whether we can see them from satisfactory on that, again, we have to see this time against GC Busan Red Game 3. The tag match potentially could be the last match of this series. Let's get the match underway. Let's get it on. This is Game 3, the first tag match. It could potentially be the last match of it as well between GC Busan Red and G-Touring. Hyungi Kim on the Assassin will be the first man out for GC Busan Red. Young Che on the Warlock, as we saw him swap this around once it was time for the tag. He plays the Assassin on the singles, but he goes for these Warlocks typically during these tag matches.
Yeah, because for the composition, we have Kyungmin Park on the KFM and Woo Min-cha on the Blade Dancer this time around, not the Blade Master. And a reactionary interfere. A tag out happens already by Young Jae. Woo Min-cha taking so much damage.
Taking the stun still in the play. The bombard is going to put in more damage. Hyungi Kim already using all of his tab escapes, and the escapes are gone for now. A reactionary interference coming in from both sides, but tag point already being used by Juno. And Juno Han is already taking a lot of damage with that interfere coming from the Warlock, and also the Blade Dancer as well. The aerial and the damage from the Warlock doing a very good job on that instance.
Wow, early damage trades, early tag escape trades are going off the
Swift
roof,
tags.
Like, yeah, they're going through the roof right now. Kyungmin Park comes in with the KFM, gets shackled.
It's barely been 1 minute so far, and 2 points of tag points have been already used by G-Touring, whereas Juno Han and with the GC Busan Red has only used 1. So a lot of resources being used early. They're trying to get a statement going for their team early on in the game, and hopefully that will lead to further results in the mid to the late game.
Yep, he is hitting Thrall. He is mad. Get away, Familiar. There we go. The Familiar has finally gone in. Juno Han putting his paper in front of his face.
There we go, trying to get the counter on him, but Kyungmin Park is trying to get the triple kill onto him. Doesn't happen this time around. Another tag point being used by GC Busan right now. Brings out the World Destroyer, Sungjin Choi, out on the field. It's the first time we've seen him today, and he's a very formidable player if you guys have not followed him before.
Yeah, let's see how the Destroyer does. Sungjin Choi is very happy to, you know, come back to the Destroyer from the Blade Dancer that he played previously in Season 1.
Well, we saw in Season 2 that, you know, Sungjin Choi did a very good job coming back to the Destroyer, doing very good work on that particular class, but Sungjin Choi is going to go on the initiative now and trying to get some damage onto Kyungmin Park. Doesn't happen quite yet.
Ooh, nice chase. He is using the persistence to get out of that Rising Dragon stun.
Does get frozen up, but does come back. Trying to put in some damage onto Sungjin Choi, but keeps spinning around. There's no damage potential onto that stun. It's coming back out, but it's going to be forcing him to use the tab escape. Now gets him into the air. Sungjin Choi is in a bit of a trouble that he can get this on. The Tremor, the stun into the air, and no additional follow-up happening from the Kung Fu Master this time around.
Yeah, 2 seconds left for that 4-stack forward. That Kyungmin Park Kung Fu Master. Is he going to chase? There we go. He does chase. Puts him right into the area with the web.
Oh, Hyungi Kim doing a good job. Right as he comes in, Young Che on the force tag. He's going to get free tag, but has to use the tab escape right away as soon as he comes in, because that was a crucial CC going into his way.
Yeah, and that Ice Mine does not connect, but Young Che had to use his tab escape already, almost cooled down, 15 more seconds left.
Definitely using a time distortion from Juno Han to get his cooldown back. on the Tabascan, and so does Young Che use his time distortion as well. So Young Kim on the Assassin trying to do something with what he has available, but Young Che doing a good job of standing firm for what he has to do. The damage is starting to come out to Sang Choi, and he's going to be putting 50% of damage right onto the Destroyer as soon as he comes in from that tag. So good chase coming from Young Che.
Yeah, forces Sungjin to use his Tabby skip right away. Now he is going aggressive.
The World Destroyer spinning around, putting enough damage to knock him out. Two knockdowns from the Destroyer with that interfere coming in from the World Destroyer himself. Whoa. That is the crucial play going in for GC Busan, and that might be the key winning to the actual result of the game.
That was worth screaming for. Oh my goodness, that interfere was calculated. That was wrong.
And we knew something was going to happen as soon as that spin came off from the Destroyer. You knew that interfere was going to put in a lot of damage. Actually, it just finishes him off right away.
Look how happy they are.
That was a very satisfactory victory for GC Busan. It was a total clincher of a statement that I really need to make as the top class in this tournament, still viable for display.
Yeah, G-Touring, something was up. Maybe the communications was a little bit mixed up. That interfere and the tag was kind of mixed up. Youngmin Park had full health, but he wasn't the one to come out, and the two players that had the low health came out and interfered in, and they both got knocked out at the same time.
And a very different strategy came up by GC Busan Red was their aggressive use of their resources. They did not intend on saving their tag points. They used it very early at the times where they felt like they needed it, and that really just came to a very close finish and very quick finish at that.
Yeah, to be honest, like until that double kill happened, you know, they were G-Touring was doing a good job. Look at right now.
Oh my god.
So Ubin Cha interferes in with a little bit of health and dies off. And then Youngwoo Che, who was on the field, dies off anyways after, because there wasn't a reactionary interfere, so it was a 2-on-2.
Yeah.
So, you know, when that happens, when you lose two players at the same time, like maybe like 1 second difference,
right?
You can't do, like, your team is broken. Like, it's broken.
It's true.
It's shattered. Because, yeah, if you lose one player at a time and slowly doing damage to your opponent as you die, maybe you have some hope. But when this happens, when two players dies at the same time and one player is left alone all of a sudden against three players, it's not, there is not even 1% hope.
And then you're trying to talk about that mental status difference, that when you get two players knocked off immediately, it just catches you into the startle that we saw in the matches all the way tonight, and was that just all four teams from the left side, the championship teams, really proving their worth, getting the clear victories. Literally a 3-1 victory, or if not a 4-0 victory for most of these sides on the left side. So championship teams really proving what they're capable of and getting all the wins over the challengers team today.
Yep, exactly what you just said. Champions team is not just the champions team for no reason. They have the skills, they have the teamwork. Even with the roster changes, they were able to cleanly sweep or have the victory against the challengers teams. And I'm so happy that we are finally at this moment where we get to see the champions teams. And this is the matchup for next Saturday, August 5th, 1200 or 12 p.m. KST.
And we're going to see GC Busan Blue go up against IDEPS. No Name will be up against Full Swing, so that's going to be the first time the Group A losers will face off against each other. This will be the challengers team facing up each other, and Group A decider will happen on that same day as well. So, you know, GC Busan Blue and IDEPS, they're both the winners of today's matches, but they have a lot of tougher competition, you know, between the two teams. So it's going to be a tougher one for any of these guys, but definitely an easier one for the challengers next week.
Yeah, and finally next week we only have 3 matches. However, we have 2 best out of 7s, and it's going to be exciting to see finally deciding the best and the worst, kind of the first, second, and third of the Group A starting next Saturday.
No, but I have to give all the credits to GC Busan Red, really surprising us with the addition of Hyungyu Kim. It was really much a surprise to us how much the improvement they would have made, but they showed really a high-quality Blade&Soul action today for us today. But all 4 champions team, we can report to you that they have won out against the challengers team, and we will be back next week to bring you the action onto the Group A and Group B as well, to see whether they can make it to the one step closer to the World Championships.
Yeah, there's starting next week, there's definitely going to be more hype, and it's going to be fire, because now if you lose, you're going to be knocked out starting next week from Group A and Group B. So Group B will be on Sunday, Group A will be on Saturday. And these are the real important matches. If you lose, you're out.
And all 8 teams left remaining in the tournament right now, they're really just looking for that spot in the World Championship. Yeah. Only 3 teams get to do it from the Korean region. And we want to see them really just be successful and churn out in the best of the form. But we will be back next Saturday at 1200 Korean Standard Time. And we will be back for more Blade&Soul action. This was Joel Stovia along with Ending Life, bringing you the Blade&Soul. We will be seeing you next week at 1200 Korean Standard Time. So see you guys then.
to have someone to turn to another day.